You're listening to The Pete Sheppard Show.
Hey everybody, welcome. It's July. Are you kidding me? 7/1/2024, and good morning everybody. Happy Monday. This is the Pete Sheppard Show. I am coming to you live from the now world famous Isola della Cucina, which is my kitchen island here in beautiful sunny Fort Myers. No lightning yet. Man, we've had some doozies over the weekend. Some close calls, and we'll see if Angel had some too. He's up in Tampa. I am here in Southwest Florida. Wherever you are, wherever you may be around this beautiful nation of ours and around the world, welcome to another edition of the Pete Sheppard Show right here. Check out all the video platforms, okay? Follow me on Twitter, X at PShep326. On my Facebook and Broad Street South Facebook page is YouTube. Ion TV. Of course, this show and other shows are powered by Ion TV. Also, check us out on Spotify, LinkedIn, Twitch, Rumble, Sports Radio 102.9. Executive producer and host extraordinaire Angel Martinez is in the house as well. Big show lined up for you today. Lots of NBA news and lots of it happening over the last, few hours or so. And I think that Angel Martinez will tell you, at least on his end, that quote unquote, it unquote moved. When we tell you about how the 76ers have just acquired Paul George, now he'll be playing with Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey, among others, and $212 million 4-year contract max extension with the 76ers. Good news for all you 76er fans out there. There's a hell of a lot more. I don't know if Adrian Wojnarowski even got to sleep the last 48 hours. It is crazy. We'll have the Florida Panthers celebrating on South Beach yesterday in a monsoon. Unbelievable. Got some funny sound from that. Paul Maurice had a really cool speech. There's some man on the street reporting by some of the local stations in Miami that got some people cussing on live TV. Of course, I'm going to play it for you. Unedited, of course, because that's what we do. We don't. Anytime you hear something bleeped out, it's not on my end. Trust me, it's from other. But that's okay. That's okay. We got a lot of great sound for you today as well. We have just the NBA news and the Florida Panthers celebrating. DeAndre Lewis is going to join us from Tampa as well with an NHL draft update and what she thought about it, and also the Tampa Bay Lightning as well. She does a great job of covering them. At 9:05, John Meter Perel will join me. We'll talk about everything. We'll have an MLB rundown. New sponsor, Moynihan Lumber. We'll have a Red Sox report every day now at 8:50. Just a quick, couple minute synopsis for our new sponsor, Moynihan Lumber. And they will we'll get to them at 8:15 this morning, along with the rest of the MLB rundown. And speaking of MLB, well, first off, Spalding, get your foot off the boat. Spalding Media Network says, getting off my flight in St. Paul. Okay. Have fun in Minnesota. And Kraut, Buffett fan, says, good morning, Pete, from Billerica, Mets in Massachusetts. So, yes. How about that? Good morning. Billerica, hello. Everybody in Massachusetts, hello. How's everybody doing this morning and around New England? But, Angel, do you know what today is? If we say good morning to the one and only Angel Martinez, do you know what today is? Oh, that's a cool little logo. Did you just do that?
Yeah. I changed a couple things over the weekend. So
you are a magician. You are absolutely mad. But do you know what today is, Angel?
It is Bobby Bo Day.
Yes! I'm so glad you know. We celebrate Bobby Bonilla Day here on the what did I just do? I just hit something I shouldn't have. On the Pete Sheppard Show. Yes. And you know what that means when it's Bobby Bonilla Day here, in case you don't know. He's got 11 years left on his contract. But Bobby Bonilla today, as usual, on this day for the last 11 years, well, since 2000, this is the 14th installment of his $1,193,248, and I'm not making this up, and 20 cents, Angel. That's what he gets today. as he has since the year 2000. The Mets didn't want him to play anymore. They paid him this ridiculous contract. So over almost $1.2 million today. And the good news is, Angel, he has 11 years left on that deal. Well, so that means he's got almost 11,932,482 left over the next 11 years. The Mets have paid him so far, you'll be quizzed later, $16,705,474.80 for him not to play since 2000. What a country. Who says this isn't the greatest country in the world? Where else can you get a deal like that? Make $1.2 million a year and not do anything. Just sit back every July 1st, collect a check, and on your way. So congratulations. Also, the number to call the text this show is always 727-858-6650. Well, we had spurts of some major lightning down here, Angel Martinez, over the weekend. Not all day, every day. Yesterday, we didn't see the sun at all, I'll be honest with you. If it did, it was late afternoon. It was cloudy and overcast all day, rain. A lot of places had some rain, but man, when you know how the lightning down here can be vicious, big bolts and everything else. When you see the lightning bolt, and sometimes when you count right, every second away is supposed to be like a mile away. But when you hear the lightning and the thunder at that same time, it's right in your backyard, and that's what happened down here a couple of times. In fact, I texted my neighbors next door, Andrea and Mike. I'm like, that was a close one. Because you heard it, and it was loud. Like somebody just dropped a bomb. That's how bad it was down here. How was it up in your neck of the woods, Angel?
I pull double duties. Yeah, I was listening to the radio to the app because there was a slight echo. Hopefully, it got a little bit better as I make some adjustments here on the fly. But
okay.
Here we started the morning and it was just fine as far as the weather wise. And I think right around 3:00 is when we started getting finally the much needed rain that we needed here. Yeah. So we got a good soaking yesterday. This morning it looked like it was going to start the same exact way as I'm looking out the studio window here, but it's held off. But we need it around here because it's funny because where we live, it's like it goes around to the block behind us, the highway in front of us, and then I don't get it. But anyways, it is what it is here in Florida. But I did hear that you guys had a ton of it, and I did see also for the Panthers parade, there was a ton of rain as well.
I don't know how they did it. Yesterday. Excuse me. I felt like going out and getting an iced coffee from Dunkin' Donuts this morning, so I did. Usually I make it here, but I don't. And we got the talk. Do you have the video of Paul Maurice's speech? I'm not going to play it just yet, but you said you found it. I have a video of a young lady, a man on the street, interviewing another young lady in the stands who was very excited about Matt Tkachuk. And it's absolutely hysterical on live TV. There's nothing like it. I got the video of that, but it was pouring yesterday. I give all those fans a lot of credit. I know there's some people in New England who were saying, "Oh, look at it. It's not like it was for the Celtics." Look, I tell you, it was a monsoon and lightning. It was a monsoon and lightning, and that was still a pretty damn good crowd on South Beach. They all ran into the ocean again with the Stanley Cup and all that stuff. Paul Maurice had a funny speech as well, and we will get to all of that. But first, Angel, if we may, the big story. I mean, there's so much NBA news going on out there, and especially with your Philadelphia 76ers. So if we could, love to play the first cut. This is from SiriusXM NBA Radio with Ryan McDonough, talking about the 76ers and the addition of Paul George.
Oh, we're going to the cuts. Hang on.
Yeah. Sorry.
Here I'm looking. Yeah. Well, it happens. By the way, gas pump guy, as I look for the first one here, pulling the double duties, the NBA. All right. Gas pump guy said, as I get things fired up, he said, Pete, the lightning storm yesterday was the Tampa Bay Lightning trying to rain on a Panthers hockey parade.
Yeah, well, we'll see what DeAndre Lou has to say about that. She's coming up at 8:30 this morning.
All right. Here is Paul George, Ryan McDonough.
Yep.
It seems like the 76ers are clearly in the driver's seat. And I think, Gels, this is something they wouldn't admit publicly, but Philadelphia will worry about 4 years from now. 4 years from now, I know that sounds simplistic, but they have Joel Embiid, a great player in his prime. They have Tyrese Maxey with the $13 million salary cap hold they can take advantage of. So their window is now, and they'll worry about the future in the future, which, we'll see how it pans out. Only time will tell. But frankly, I'm a little surprised that of the two teams, the Clippers, the one not taking that tact, given all they've done to get Kawhi and PG, all the assets they've given up. I'm a little surprised that, they've drawn a line in the sand. I thought at the end of the day, they'd probably cave on that fourth year, even a partial, maybe almost fully guaranteed, but not fully guaranteed. It seems like they're not going to. So PG ends up in Philly, and I think that will be on the full 4-year, $212 million max contract.
Yeah, absolutely is going to be that way. And now he gets to be paired with Joel Embiid and all-star guard Tyrese Maxey. He also has a player option on the final season of the 2027-28 his contract. His agent, Aaron Mintz of CAA, met with the 76ers in L.A. over the weekend, and that included on Josh Harris. Also, Daryl Morey, your favorite, and the GM Elton Brand. Sixers legend Julius Erving was there as well. That always helps when the doc is in the house. And they even brought front office executive Peter Dinwiddie, who's a pretty familiar face and friend of George's from their years together with the Indiana Pacers. So how about that? I agree with McDonough. I think I was stunned, to be quite honest, that he didn't end up with the Clippers. Really thought that's where he was going to go. But Embiid, Maxey, and George, all-stars last year. Inform, that is going to be a pretty good big three. We think with the chemistry. So that's something that that's going to be great because that really adds to the Celtics 76ers rivalry in the Eastern Conference. So that's good. And I hope everybody remains reasonably healthy, even though Porzingis is going to be out till around Christmas.
Yeah.
So Georgie's 34 years old, 9-time All-Star, spent the last 5 years with the Clippers. He averaged 23 points, 6 rebounds, 4.5 assists, and 1.5 steals over 263 regular season games with LA. So we shall see. But that's good. You must be very happy, Angel, right? You got to be happy about this.
Yeah, it's a good move by the Sixers. I didn't think it was going to happen only because I have, from what was said, I guess it was two-part. Either the Clippers really wanted to sign him or they were going to let him kind of test free agency for like 24 hours, which obviously didn't last that long. I do like the move. I know there's also rumors about Klay Thompson possibly talking to the Sixers. I don't think the Sixers will end up signing him. But I do like the move by Paul George. It definitely helps out Tyrese Maxey as long as they all stay healthy. But I think for the Sixers fans, what they did in the draft, as best as they could to get the acquired players that they needed. Obviously, a lot of them play with the Delaware Blue Coats. But I like Paul George coming to Philly. I think it's going to be exciting. And we'll see about the ticket sales. Once they get released, we'll see if it gets, at least first game should be sold out with just with him alone.
Yeah, just think of all the Knicks fans will buy season tickets for you. We're going to get to Klay Thompson in a second, but also want to play Chris Paul is signing with the Spurs. So if we can play Ryan McDonough again, that cut underneath that from Sirius XM NBA Radio, Angel, that would be great. Ryan McDonough on how the Cavs Spurs trade involving Darius Garland is perfect. Chris Paul signing with the Spurs.
So we've heard that Donovan Mitchell may not love playing with Darius Garland. We know the Cleveland Cavaliers are doing everything they can to try to re-sign Mitchell, and it seems like they have good traction there. That's priority 1A for the Cavs. So in looking at the Spurs salary cap sheet, keep in mind they just drafted Stephon Castle, a talented wing, with the 4th pick in the draft. They traded the 8th pick in the draft, which was Rob Dillingham, to Minnesota for future assets. This is a team with a lot of draft assets. So guys, looking at the salary cap sheet, and this may be too clean and easy. Life doesn't always work out this way, but Devin Vassell plus assets to Cleveland for Darius Garland is pretty close to working. In fact, it may work straight up. I haven't run the numbers, but it's close. Maybe San Antonio has to add one minor contract to even out the money a little. But I bring that up, Geltz, because as I look at the Spurs, we're talking about what's the long-term solution at point guard. Well, if Mitchell doesn't want to play with Garland, that could be a pretty good fit. And then you have Chris Paul as the bridge guy in the short term. Garland is the long-term answer. CP could mentor him and teach him the ropes for a year or two and then hand the reins over to Garland. Because I look at the Spurs, I see still a long-term hole at the point guard slot, even despite signing a 39-year-old Chris Paul who will help in the short term. And now I see 3 talented young wings, Stephon Castle and Devin Vassell and Keldon Johnson. Vassell and Johnson, guys they've already paid. So my executive brain leaps ahead to try to figure out what San Antonio can do to bring in a point guard who matches up Victor's timeline for the long term.
All right, there's that, and then Klay Thompson reportedly going to part ways with the Golden State Warriors after 13 years. I think he's going to end up with the Lakers. Here is Pat O'Keefe, Angel. If we could play this one, Pat O'Keefe and Vincent Goodwill on Klay Thompson reportedly leaving. This is from SiriusXM NBA.
Other teams still clearly view him like he has a lot more basketball left, in his tank. And he just turned 34 in February, which used to be sort of NBA old. 34 is no longer NBA old. He has some old body parts, old Achilles, ACL, but those injuries used to be far more of a death knell than they are now. And if he's in a spot where the role isn't requiring him to be your second best player, and you're playing off of the attention of multiple stars, and think about this, in Golden State, Stephen Curry was the thing that everybody revolved around, and you were going to get your attention off the movement created by Stephen Curry, the gravity. There's Tyrese Maxey in Philly. There's Joel Embiid in Philly. There could be Paul George in Philly. In Dallas, there's Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. Multiple sons for Klay Thompson to get some shade in. You know what I mean?
4 NBA championships, countless big shots, countless big moments, bringing an end to a couple of eras. The dynasty that has dominated the NBA for the last decade. We can say now it's over. Even if the Warriors somehow pivot and are able to cobble together, another run at a title or a championship or a finals, it's not the same without Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson was the second most important Warrior during that entire tenure. And then it's also the end of the Splash Brothers as we know them. Great nickname, great tandem, 2 of the top 5 shooters in the history. Think about that.
Absolutely.
Same
Absolutely.
backcourt for 13 years, 2 of the top 5 shooters in the history of the NBA.
Yeah, again, thanks to SiriusXM. We don't do enough cobbling, Angel. Cobble, you don't hear that word a lot. We don't do enough cobbling in this country. We need to cobble. And then one more cut, Angel, if we may. Chris Haynes on Bleacher Report on why the Warriors turned down a deal for Zach LaVine that included Andrew Wiggins and Chris Paul.
I reported they waived Chris Paul, not guaranteeing his $30 million salary for next season. So Chris Paul is an unrestricted free agent. But prior to that, the Warriors are trying to seek a trade. That's why they got Chris Paul to push back his guaranteed date on his salary. And what was being talked behind the scenes were Chicago Bulls were trying to propose a Zach LaVine to the Golden State Warriors for a package centered around Chris Paul and Andrew Wiggins. The Warriors were not. That was something that they didn't feel was feasible. And so talks really didn't get off the ground much, but that was something that was a talk prior to the Golden State Warriors making the decision to waive Chris Paul. And one more thing, the Warriors are actually trying to get. Well, I wouldn't say trying. They asked Chris Paul if he would be willing to push his guaranteed date back even further to give them more time to seek a trade. And I was told Chris Paul and his representatives they didn't agree to that, and so that's what led to this decision right now.
Combination of things, huh?
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. I guess quickly on the Zach LaVine front, is there any traction with Chicago to move LaVine at all? As this one was declined, are they talking to any other teams in the LaVine deal?
Yeah, I believe there are some other teams out there, but Chicago, they don't want to get fleeced on a deal, even though there are some teams that believe that Zach LaVine is not the player that he was, that it's probably a bad contract.
All right, thanks again to that cut was from. That one was from. Where was that cut from? That's that SiriusXM.
That was Bleacher Report.
Oh, Bleacher Report. Yeah, great job by them again. And all the great sound, or a lot of the great sound that we have, is courtesy of Total Sports Prep. They're outstanding. For the best articles and audio, there's only one source that provides everything you need 365 days a year to satisfy your sports crave. It's Total Sports Prep. The staff combs through the best articles and audio so you don't have to. and the sports and non-sports kicker stories will have you laughing, keep you laughing all day long. To get your free trial of Total Sports Prep, contact them at info@sportsbroadcastingcoach.com. That's info@sportsbroadcastingcoach.com. Total Sports Prep, the name says it all. There's just, I'll give you some of the highlights, some more highlights from the NBA over the last couple of, really 12 hours. The Philadelphia 76ers also on guard Kelly Oubre Jr. They've agreed on a 2-year, $16.3 million deal to stay on board there. It also includes a player option for the 2025-26 season. Last year with the Sixers, his first year, he averaged 15.4 points and led the team in steals at 1.8. So that's another good signing by the Philadelphia 76ers. That happened at 1:45 this morning. Most of you are still sleeping on the East Coast anyway. Dallas Mavericks for Derrick Jones Jr. and the Clippers have agreed to a 3-year, $30 million deal. So he's gone from the Mavericks. Woj last night around 10:30, Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN said the Lakers, LeBron James has already reached out to Klay Thompson, as I said, as soon as the free agency period began on Sunday. Woj said that Thompson's time with the Warriors is essentially over and that the 4-time NBA champ has held discussion with the Lakers and the Dallas Mavericks. The other teams eyeing Thompson include Philadelphia, which I don't think is going to happen, and the Clippers. So there's basically your NBA highlights over the last, a lot going on, and the 76ers seem to be at the center of all of it. Good for them. The phone number is 727-858-6650, 727-858-6650. That is the number to call. Again, follow us all over the place on this awesome video platform on Twitter X, my Facebook and Broad Street South Facebook pages, YouTube, Ion TV, which Angel will get to in a second, Spotify, LinkedIn, Twitch, Rumble, and Sports Radio 102.9. But we welcome our new friends at Ion TV, doing a great job, Angel.
That they are Ion TV. For those who don't know, we're powered now by Ion TV, which is Ion Tampa Bay. They keep you up with the latest news, weather, and traffic. You guys can visit them at iontv.com, just the way it sounds and spelled, iontv.com. And it will let you know what's going on here around Pinellas and Hernando, Hillsborough County, all nearby. They also have a spot there for home improvement. So if you do suffer, some of the crazy weather we have here in Florida during summertime, they have a spot too where they can tell you or guide you at least to go to the home improvement. Right now, it looks like most of the majors seem to be clear. Obviously, that will change as the rain comes through because some people drive like maniacs. But all the majors seem to be clear. And I know there was a bus accident a couple of days ago. They had mentioned it on Twitter, which you guys can follow them as well on Twitter, Ion TV, and it will give you the latest morning traffic, including things that happened over the weekend. So visit iontv.com.
Awesome stuff. Again, we congratulate Bobby Bonilla, and I know some of you will be lighting off fireworks today on July 1st. Happy Bobby Bonilla Day. As I said, he's set to earn close to $1.2 million today from the stupid Mets. And he will, as he will each July through the year 2035. So put this in perspective. $1,193,248.20. I'm not kidding. So to put that in perspective, kids, it's $208,000 more than the $985,000 base salary that 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy will make this season. Think about that. Bobby Bonilla gets $208,000 more than Brock Purdy for the San Francisco 49ers. So put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Exactly.
If you will. All right, Angel. Yesterday at South Beach, people, if we can scroll down right under where the show is on Twitter. Thanks, everybody, already. Hundreds of listed followers. This is great stuff. But you can scroll down, awful announcing. This is a report of Channel 10, the NBC affiliate out of Miami. And she interviewed a young lady, a man on the street type of report. And, this is what happens when you interview drunk fans on the street, Angel. If we could play that video, that would be awesome.
Yep. Give me a second as I get everything all lined up as usual.
Love that.
All right.
Here we go. This is what you get.
All right, we got some people from Alabama, of course, up and down Florida. The fans are here.
Let's just say Matthew Tkachuk is a fucking ball.
Oh, okay. This is live TV. We don't need to cuss on live TV, ma'am. All right, so let's get back to the fans. She was really eager to something, so I got to monitor that now on.
You don't, come on. That's why you don't do that stuff.
Exactly.
Or you better really know the person. You better actually fake that you know the person doing it. Of course they got that. That's that young lady just let loose there. And I don't know, Angela, can you pull up the video of Paul Maurice? Because I know you have it on your end. I have the audio clip, and I want you to see the video of it as well. Somebody threw a beer can at his daughter on one of the somewhat, but she got clunked in the head. But I guess she was okay. But if we could play the Paul Maurice speech yesterday during a monsoon as the Panthers were celebrating the Stanley Cup. Beautiful, Angel. You're the best.
For every fucking one of you, 30 years. And for that woman over there, 30 years of being married to an asshole. Fuck yeah! I want to, in my wildest dreams, I've never would have thought I could see this. Seriously, understand this. Everybody that we love in this world is fucking happy right now. I want to thank all of the police officers and the fire department, especially the fire department that had to fix my daughter and her friend. Took a beer can off the head, God bless them. I want to thank all of you for these men here for welcoming our families to Florida. For our wives, our children to come to Florida. My two cats, this is Poppy. Wait, this is Penny. Those are my two cats. My daughter made the shirt. I promised her we win the Stanley Cup, I'm wearing that shirt. I got one more word for you. And actually, this isn't for you.
Wow, you must really cut it off.
One more time, Mo. Once
All right. They have Paul Maurice and hosting the Stanley Cup around South Beach yesterday. Is outstanding. I got some other sound we'll play for you as well. But we've already. I love that. Graphic there, Angel. I just love that. It is the Pete Sheppard Show right here until 10 o'clock, 7 to 10 a.m. every single, well, not every single day, but Monday through Friday. Lots of great things happening here. So thanks for coming on board, 727-858-6650. Quick break, and then more reaction to the Stanley Cup in South Beach yesterday. Some of the Florida Panthers, DeAndre Liu. We'll talk all things Tampa Bay and the NHL draft coming up at 8:30. John Meter-Perrell, we'll talk about everything with him in the world of sports and in life as well. He's coming up at 9:05 a.m. All part of the Pete Sheppard Show today. Back right after this.
Ion Tampa Bay is the latest news, weather, and traffic for Pinellas, Pasco, Ellsboro, Hernando, and surrounding communities. Stay connected on X, Facebook, and their website, iontp.com. Ion Tampa Bay keeps you informed on breaking news as it happens. Southwest Florida's newest game in town. Sports Radio 102.9, the game powered by Ion Tampa Bay. We'll be right back.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hey, Dad, your prescription will be ready in just a minute. Hey, Dad, your laundry will be ready in just a minute. Dad, your lunch will be ready in just a minute.
Hey, honey, why don't you take a minute?
When you help care for a loved one, you give them as much time as you can, making sure they're safe and comfortable. But it's just as important that you take some time for yourself. At AARP, we can help with information and useful tips on how you can maintain a healthy life balance, care for your own physical and mental well-being, and manage the challenges of caring for a loved one. Because the better care you take of yourself, the better care you can provide for your loved one.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you.
You're there for them. We're here for you. Find free care guides to support you and your loved one at aarp.org/caregiving. That's aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
All right, class. Let's hear what everyone did this weekend. Jill?
Well, I raised my older sister to a big oak tree. It was at least 100 years old. My mom said I must have set a record or something. And then we went down by a stream and perched up on this huge rock and saw all of these little minnows swimming around way below us. And then I rescued my little brother from an evil slug king who was guarding him at the bush fortress. And my sister and I brought him back to our super twig fort for safety. And then we all laid out and told stories until it got dark. And the Big Dipper led us all the way home.
Wow. Awesome. Where were you, Jill?
Yeah. We went to the forest. It's not that far away. Anyone want to come this weekend?
Ask your parents to take you and your friends to the forest this week and find the fun, adventurous you. It's closer than you think. Check out discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
The Pete Sheppard Show. It's fun for the whole family, if it's dysfunctional.
Welcome back to the Pete Sheppard Show right here. Man, you have an awesome video platform, and also those listening on Sports Radio 102.9. Outstanding stuff. Angel Martinez, amazing job what you've done with the app and your webpage and all of us. And I forget, are you having your show today? Are you back today?
Yes.
So Martinez Company, after this fine program, keep it right here, because from 10 a.m. to noon, it's Martinez Company with that guy right there. That guy right there. And later on from noon to 2 p.m., it is Middays with Q with Rich Quinones. And he's got a great show. It really is. So 3 great shows. So we're live programming now from 7 a.m. until 2 p.m. And there's a lot more coming. We got a lot of good things that are happening here. And again, want to thank one of our new sponsors, Moynihan Lumber, for coming on board. We're going to do a Red Sox quick 2-minute report every day around 8:15 when I do the MLB rundown for you. And they won yesterday 4-1. And the fear, remember last week, Angel, with the Philadelphia Phillies, what happened last Friday. And sure enough, their 2 stars had to go on the DL for 10 days. So hopefully, but so far you guys are 2-0, I think, since they went on the DL. So
yeah.
Anyway, the phone number is 727-858-6650. That is the number to call. I told you we'd have some more sound. Angel, if we could scroll down on Total Sports Prep to the Florida Panthers Championship Parade. It's the last down after the baseball stuff, if you can see that.
Yep.
All right, so let's start at the top here with Eric Ekblad. He's at the parade podium. Thanks to CBS Miami for this cut.
Aaron Ekblad is a champion. He got to this beach as a teenager. Here he is, as a man and a cup champ with his traffic cone. Chance in front, Aaron Ekblad scores!
All right, next one.
No, not done yet.
Okay.
From the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you. Let's go, Cats. Woo! Let's go. Woo! Let's go, Cats.
All right, Angel, enough of that one. Let's just scroll because a lot of these are all the same. So let's just go down. Let's go down to cut number 3 with Alexander Barkov at the parade podium. Again, thanks to CBS Miami.
South Florida, what's up? Man, when I was drafted here 10 years ago, 2013, I would have never believed that this day will come. And here I am with my teammates, with the team, Viola's, management, everyone. We're here in front of you all together in a rainy day during hurricane season. We're here on the beach celebrating us winning the cup.
All right. Let's just we can stop that one, and then we can, if we can, just scroll down one more for you. The last cut there with Sergei Bobrovsky, also at the parade podium against CBS Miami.
(2019) July 1. I just signed the deal with the Florida Panthers. In my first interview, they asked me why I came to Florida. My answer was because I want to win the cup and I'm gonna do it here. And now here we are, 5 years later, celebrating the biggest victory of this franchise with you guys.
All right, Angel, and then if we could scroll up one more couple play, the again from WPLG Local 10, Channel 10 out in Miami, the Panthers parade celebration with players and fans being interviewed, Angel.
The motorcade may have been rain-soaked, but not even a slight weather delay could have dampened these spirits.
Rain or shine, rain or shine, we're gonna be here. We're Panthers fans, and we are here for it. I'm so excited. I love this weather.
From the official dance team of the Panthers to the marching band in kilts, nothing was stopping this victory parade down A1A on Fort Lauderdale Beach.
The rain was a little deterrent, you can tell, but it's still, you know what? Florida Panther fans, rain or shine, we're out here.
I flew just for the parade, and now I'm standing out in the rain.
The rain hasn't stopped any of the spirit here. The people are beautiful. Let's go, Panthers! It's an amazing moment.
Hockey fans lined the road by the thousands, and some even stood watch on nearby balconies of hotels and other businesses just to get a glimpse of the action.
There it is!
But the star of the show, the prized Lord Stanley, the cup hoisted atop a bus along the parade route and then taking a spin in the crowd with Panthers player Ryan Lomberg.
I'm out of breath. I just ran a half a mile with that thing.
Other players jumped in on the action. Here's Bobby and others front and center greeting fans on the parade route. The excitement contagious among the crowd.
Rain or shine, they are here to cheer them on.
Even taking a final dip in the ocean one last time before hitting the stage.
My first Florida championship!
Well, Angel, as you know, where I'm from, it's like at least a year, once every other. It's been 5 years since my people have won, thanks to the Celtics for winning in 24. So, you get used to it. And luckily, most of the parades that have gone on, at least the last 20 years in New England, have all had good weather. Red Sox, a couple times it was pouring rain. I think 2000 and I lose track, Angel. There's so many. The 2007, I think, was bad weather that day, but nothing like. I mean, there's rain and then there's rain, and it was a monsoon yesterday in by South Beach for most of the day. So I give all those people a lot of credit. It was not just drizzling, a little bit of shower here on and off. It was coming down, pretty hard yesterday. So anyway, good for them for hanging out there as well. And Tampa Bay, you up Tampa Bay, you know what it's like. You up there, you've won a couple of Stanley Cups, so you know how crazy it can get. And they had the fans in Florida now are. It's something else. What's going on between Tampa Bay and the Florida Panthers now the last 6-7 years. And you throw in the Florida Everblades, where I am over here, winning their third Kelly Cup title in a row in the ECHL. I mean, hockey is blooming here in the Sunshine State. It really is. It's great to see.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. When I know obviously when the Lightning won it back to back, it was great when he had it on the Riverwalk down here in Tampa Bay. It was fun because it was something new for me, a new experience. Usually with the Eagles and the Phillies, it's always been down Broad Street, which obviously you guys know it's right behind me here, named after a show, famous street out there in Philadelphia. But it was. With the Lightning, I think what made it even better was, first of all, Debbie and I were the only two people out there I think it was like 5:15 in the morning. We were out there with the local news station, and a news guy ended up chatting up with us until the parade started. But it was fun because I've never seen a boat parade on the water. You guys have up there in New England. Yeah. You guys have done it with the duck boats and stuff. But it's a different experience. It's a lot of fun. I hope the Panthers fan, even though it did rain, unfortunately, but it didn't seem to stop them. The only big thing was with the Lightning, their second Cup win, it got cut real short because we had this crazy pattern of weather that came in as we're all heading to the park to get ready to celebrate. It was just this monsoon that came out of nowhere, and they basically had to cut it off because it was the lightning strikes and everything else. They wanted everybody to make sure they got out of Dodge.
Yeah, and of course the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning the Super Bowl with Tom Brady. Tampa has no question. They've had several championships now the last several years, and now you're just waiting for the Tampa Bay Rays, who are having a bit of an off year, to get involved. They've certainly been a playoff team. They just haven't been able to win the whole thing so far. Anyway, 727-858-6650. That is the number to call. 727-858-6650. You can call or text the show. Again, Pete Sheppard Show here. Monday through Friday from 7 to 10 a.m. right here on Sports Radio 102.9 and the network. Follow me at Twitter X at PShep326, Facebook and Broad Street South, YouTube and Ion TV. And thanks to them, doing a great job. Spotify, LinkedIn, Twitch, Rumble, and executive producer, host extraordinary, Angel Martinez. He'll be back right after this show today. Martinez Company coming your way from 10 a.m. until noon. And then middays with Q with Rich Quinones, who does a great job as well. Always thoughtful and funny and doing a great job here across the network. It's Happy Bobby Bonilla Day. I also wanted to give a shout out. To, is it Brendan? Yes, Brandon, over at Valvoline in Fort Myers, who took care of my car again yesterday. My wife took it over there to get it serviced with oil change and everything else. And he listens to the network, Angel. He listens to the show and heard my shout out to him. I don't know if you remember, like 6 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it was great. And he made sure that Lady Elaine knew about it, and I relayed the message back to me. So thank you, Brandon, for taking care of the car and everything else and your service, and love that stuff. So Brandon over at Valvoline in Fort Myers, and maybe they'll come on board with us too at 13730 South Tamiami Trail in Fort Myers, Florida. Thanks to Brandon and your incredible staff there at Valvoline. Good job.
So it's a good thing to find a place where you feel comfortable with the mechanic, because it's tough. It's extremely tough. I know I had an issue with not an issue, but I went to get an oil change with my car, and the mechanics and I won't mention the place because they've done a better job to improve, but they decided, we don't need to tighten up the oil filter. Who cares if it leaks?
Oh,
so yeah, thankfully they got a lot better. The last time I went back for my oil change was definitely a much better experience overall, but things happen. We just hope we get good people.
They do, yeah. And again, coming up at 8:15, we'll have the first of many Red Sox reports. It's going to be the 2-minute report of the day. It's going to be brought to you by Moynihan Lumber. They're out in New England at North Reading, Beverly, and Plastown, New Hampshire. We'll get to all of that at 8:15 when we do the MLB rundown. So lots of good stuff happening, Angel. So how was your weekend, and how was the dynamic Debbie doing?
She's good. Although this week, folks, in case you guys, it is 4th of July on Wednesday. It will be a condensed week show of radio here and, of course, on a live video platform. But she's good. She's just dying to get the procedure done again so she can just get that out of the way. It's more of a nuisance than anything else. But it was a busy weekend getting new stuff loaded up. As you guys have seen, those who are new here to the show, I'm always doing something different to keep everything just fresh and new and inviting, as they used to say on the Love Boat. Even when Deandra and when Meteor come on, you guys will see a different splash screen up there for them when they get up there. So, I always try to do something new, as my weekends are never, they're weekends, but they're not my weekends per se. It's always doing something new to keep the network up and running and making sure it looks and sounds good. So it was busy, a lot of research over the weekend as usual. And a lot of stuff that we had to get done, got out of the way. My dad's going today for his procedure on his eye because he hasn't been able to see clearly for the past couple of weeks. So hopefully he will have a good outcome out of the VA. So we're hoping, because I didn't know this until as recent. Apparently they put some sort of lens or contact in his right eye from his diabetes, and he believes when they were on their last cruise, he may have rubbed it so hard that it may have come out of place, and that's what may have caused the major blurriness in his right eye. So hopefully that's it. Dad's 84 years old, longest living Martinez, so it gives me something to look forward to for the next 30 years. But yeah, it was quite the busy weekend. Today will be no different, and then tomorrow, is it tomorrow? Tomorrow, Wednesday, I believe, we have our procedure again on Wednesday. So yeah, so we'll have shows today, tomorrow, and then the extended break up and through to next week.
All righty. Well, we'll have some good thoughts and prayers for him. I'm sure he's going to pull through just fine. I'm sure the lovely Debbie will, your wife, of now 2 weeks, right?
2 weeks.
2 weeks and 2 days.
Yep.
Outstanding.
Yeah. Fun stuff.
727-858-6650 is the number to call. We gave you a lot of there's lots of NBA news. James Harden also last night agreed to stay on with the Clippers, 2-year, $70 million deal. So don't have to worry about him coming back to poison your 76ers, Angel, as well. He's staying out in LA. The big news, NBA news, is Paul George has agreed with your Philadelphia 76ers on a 4-year, $212 million mass extension.
Yeah.
So that's good for you guys. You'd be partnering with Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey, and that'll fuel the fire for the Celtics 76ers rivalry again next season. It's going to be great, even though, as we know, Kristaps Porzingis will not be in the lineup probably until Christmas. Hopefully, it's not much longer after that. Meanwhile, what else happened up there? What else went on with you this weekend?
It was usually pretty somewhat eventful. If we're going down to Clearwater, which we absolutely love, it's always a great time at Clearwater Beach. Normally would have been down there. I know they got a lot of rain this weekend as well, but we would have been down there at least for a beach day, if anything. But again, because of the back, there's not much that we end up doing. But just some stuff around the outside of the house here that we try to keep straight and cleaned up, so no one will say anything. When you live, depending on certain communities, they can either be real jerks or they can be really nice. Where we live, everybody's really nice, and then people are they might point out, like, in a nice way. I'm not a jerk to tell you, like, oh,
well, like you need more mulch or stuff like that. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, we're nothing about that. And I think we're kind of due, actually, because I think it's been over 2 years since we got the fresh stuff here, which is part of the landscaping crew that you'll hear come tomorrow. But usually they come down, they put on a fresh mulch. I've been wanting to for the longest, and of course it takes money to do so. I would love to put rocks in place of the mulch, just because. Like,
no! I agree with you. I agree with you. But the HOA and most communities will, at least here in Florida, will frown upon that, Angel. And I know people in other communities that have done it without asking for permission and been, I don't know, either fined or threaten to take away amenity privileges and stuff like that. But man, and I guess it's a safety issue for, even though it might be, the rocks may not be close to the grass or anything else. They don't like rocks because when the HOA people come to mow the lawn, they're afraid they're going to damage the equipment. No, I think the projectiles. Oh, the projectiles. They're afraid that the rocks will be projectiles.
Yeah, we have it here though, not obviously in our house, but in our community we have a couple places. What they did was they put the cement, not the cement blocks. You know how you can get those like small square ones, I guess like a 1x1 or something like that. So what they do is they'll prop it up on an angle. So when the wheels of the grass cutting machines, the mowers, goodness gracious, if I can remember, it'll just ride the top of that so it won't skip the rocks anywhere else. So you can have it here, but there's a certain layout that you can end up doing so it protects the equipment. And then around our mailbox is the big one, because that's when, the guys, they're just doing their job. They go out there with a weed whacker to cut stuff up. The problem is if you don't put metal on the bottom of your mailbox so that the weed whacker doesn't chop up your wood, that's kind of like another reason why we like to put something around the bed of the mailbox. But hopefully that'll be sometime in the future as far as some upgrade. In our holly tree that's in front of the house, that thing is hanging on for like dear life. Poor thing. The wind's going to come, it's going to blow it over. But it's one leg that's left on it. It keeps growing. It keeps blooming. So we just leave it alone.
Alrighty. Well, I know how it is. My mailbox, I have to go up the street a little bit to get the mail. We don't have the mailbox right here. It's like in a whole bunch of mailboxes and right up the street. Have to do that. That's the only little pain in the butt. But you know what? Small price to pay. Small price to pay. Because overall, everybody now we have to do our own mulch here. That's the only thing that's not included. We have to do our own mulch, and they will send out memos to people who, if they don't keep up with their yard, you will get a memo telling you to keep up with your yard. But anyway, that's the way it is. It's the price you pay for living in gated communities and have to deal with HOA. But everybody overall does a great job, I think. At least in the community I live here in Fort Myers, and I'm sure where you are in Tampa Angels as well. But
oh yeah, which I didn't know, Pete, until as of recent. But and again, maybe because I haven't done yard work in God knows how long. Where they have like that rubber mulch, like the used tires, I guess. They chop them up and you can put it on your lawn, not on your,
in your garden, whatever.
And it apparently lasts for like 7 years, so you don't have to touch it for at least like 7 years. It's some weird, like, I don't know, it's some tire thing or something weird, but apparently it lasts for like 7 years. It lasts longer than mulch.
Yeah, but the problem with that is being told that that stuff, the tire, the oil from it leaches into the ground. It's not supposed to be very good for the environment. But what do I know?
Learn something new every day.
Just go by what I read, But I know we have our. I think we've done it now. The mulch here, it's certain areas. Anyway. Enough about that. Enough mulch talk. I want to get the word cobble back into our lexicon here. Cobble. We heard cobble by a reporter earlier today. Cobbling, and I like to cobble.
Yeah,
I like to cobble. Nothing wrong with cobbling.
Sure isn't. But there's that report that we saw earlier. She almost kind of resembles Simone Biles a little bit.
Oh yeah. Speaking of Simone, she killed it again. Unbelievable. She's like Wonder Woman. I don't know how she does it, but she's back in the Olympics. Obviously, she won at the trials easily. The only thing I saw this week, I couldn't believe she had on the balance beam when she first leaped like Wonder Woman onto the balance beam. She had a little wobble, and of course, then did some quadruple 10,000 flip disc mount and nailed it. And so you got like a 9.8 instead of a 10 on the beam. But she's got to be one of the most spectacular athletes I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. I just don't know how you fly around like that and have the guts to do what she does and just nail the landing, especially on the floor exercise. I mean, it's just amazing. Couple of NHL notes. Sam Reinhart, $69 million 8-year deal. He is staying on with the Florida Panthers. And Todd Bertuzzi has signed a 4-year deal with the Chicago Blackhawks. That's going to average about $5.5 million a year there. Again, coming up at 8:30, we'll speak with Deandra Liu, who's a great reporter. Those of you who are new, she's been on with me here and when I was at ESPN in Southwest Florida. She is fantastic. She used to cover the Buccaneers and the Tampa Bay Lightning, but now just strictly covers basically the Tampa Bay Lightning. She does a great job. She is there all the time. She's on local TV. She does a great job for reporting. So it's with the hockey news and Sirius XM, NHL, the PHWA. She's outstanding. Don't want to miss her coming up at 8:30, and then John Meter Perel at 9:00 as well here on the Pete Sheppard Show. We'll talk all things NBA, college football, some NFL, and whatever. We are now seven come this weekend, Angel. 7 Saturdays before college football starts, and I believe we are 8 Sundays away now from the NFL. So we slowly but surely we are getting there. A little thing that happened, we didn't get into it too much on the NFL the other day, but how about Jamarcus Russell, this idiot, former number 1 draft pick, fired as a volunteer assistant coach at his alma mater at Williamson High School in Mobile, Alabama, facing a lawsuit accusing him of taking a $74,000 check meant as a donation to the school. Mobile County public school officials said that Jamarcus Russell was relieved of his volunteer coaching duties at Williamson High School. What a dirtbag. A local business owner, Chris Knowles, wrote the $74,000 check saying Russell approached him about a donation to help the Williamson football team purchase weight room equipment. And the school allegedly never received the check, and Russell reportedly deposited it in a credit union and promptly withdrew $55,000 of it. So the check must have been made out to him, obviously, and not the school, which is mistake number 1. But I mean, you feel bad for the people that wrote the check because they're doing it in good faith. And this guy, what an absolute dirtbag, not to mention 38-year-old, remember, star quarterback at Williamson, remember at LSU, had an outstanding college career, then turned pro. First pick in the 2007 draft. 25 games he started for the Raiders over 3 years. He ended his NFL career with a pathetic 52.1% completion rate, 18 touchdowns, 23 interceptions, and is regarded as perhaps the biggest NFL draft bust in history. He made more than $36.4 million in salary and bonuses during his NFL career, but obviously has none of that left and felt the need to take $74,000 out of this high school's butt. But he got caught. All right. 727-858-6650. Yeah, 727-858-6650. Another quick break. When we come back, it's hour number 2 of the Pete Sheppard Show here until 10 a.m. Don't go anywhere, people. Lots coming.
To some people, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much. But that's not necessarily true. By 6 months, they're combining vowels and consonants. By 9 months, they're trying out different kinds of sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on some meaning. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Early screening and intervention can make a lifetime of difference and unlock a world of possibilities. Take the first step at autismspeaks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
The following is made possible by Dad.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling all over it.
The dad joke. Corny, grown-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
Why do you have to be careful when it's raining cats and dogs? Because you might step in a poodle.
And kids that spend more time with their dads grow up to be smarter, more successful.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding.
And, with any luck, funnier adults.
Why didn't the skeleton go to the dance? Because he didn't have any body to go with.
Dad jokes rule. So take a moment to make a moment and give your kid a laugh. It's as easy as going to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
That's really funny.
Okay, men, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. I know you won't, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick and proud aunt. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing. But not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country, but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help end childhood hunger in your community, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
You're listening to The Pete Sheppard Show.
Welcome back. It's hour number 2 here on The Pete Sheppard Show. Happy Monday. Happy July. Happy Bobby Bonilla Day. Yes, we all celebrate the man who does nothing to get $1.2 million. Thanks, everybody, for checking out the show. This is Pete Sheppard Show until 10 a.m., 7 to 10, Monday through Friday. Follow me on Twitter, at PShep326, on my Facebook and Broad Street South Facebook pages, YouTube, Ion TV, Spotify, LinkedIn, Twitch, Rumble, and of course on the app on Sports Radio 102.9. Angel Martinez has just done an amazing job putting all of this together as I do the show from Fort Myers, lovely Fort Myers, where it is sunny and looks like going to be another beautiful day. A little less humid today as I broadcast from my humble abode in the Sola della Cucina here in Fort Myers, my kitchen island. Absolutely fantastic. With a better than decorative, this is not a decorative artifact behind me. That's not the way my wall looks. But you get the picture, right? It's a nice, in today's, I have a nice little, I don't know, what color would this be? Turquoise? Not turquoise, I don't know.
Aqua.
It's kind of, aqua, turquoise, some type of thing. You in your, I don't know, like kind of a cab colored shirt that you have on over there.
Yeah, it's Yingling.
Yingling, yes.
Yeah.
Gotta get them on too.
Yeah.
Why not? Yeah.
Great beer from back home in Pennsylvania. They also have a local, they opened up a spot down here. It's coming up close to a year. Matter of fact, it might be just over a year. Down in off of 30th Street in Tampa, right down the street from USF. They have a nice restaurant bar that's over there. They haven't, hopefully they've opened up the outside. Florida's got some weird regulations where they were able to open up the inside, excuse me, and their days switched. So during the football season, they're open Sunday, Monday. The off season, they're not open Monday, Tuesday. It's a weird kind of setup, but they also have this nice garden that's on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
And it has like 3 or 4 extra bars out there. They can barbecue and stuff out there, but Florida put some weird thing that they only got approved for the inside for so long, and then they had to wait in order to be able to do the outside for whatever odd reason. And then they were also supposed to have like this little breakfast bar nook thing, and because they didn't put the hood vent or whatever it was or something, it was something very bizarre. But if you end up going there, the food is great. It's on 30th Street, the Tampa Yingling Center, which is really, really nice. They've stopped doing the tours. because the brewery's getting a makeover once they got done with the building over there. Plus, they're adding the hotel that's going to be there, which is going to be really nice. So if you guys are heading to Busch Gardens, it's on the same side, same street as Busch Gardens there in Tampa.
I thought as long as everything was sort of fenced in, there wouldn't be any like permit problems. I mean, there's always in certain cities and towns about getting, full liquor licenses. I understand that the red tape sometimes you have to go through, but yeah, you're right. Usually in Florida, it's not that big a deal as long as the outside is fenced in, so people don't wander off with drinks. And there's so many drinks down here, so many great happy hours, and between food and drinks, and it's crazy stuff. Sometimes all day happy hours with food and cocktails, and some of them are 11 to 7, some of them are 3 to, regardless. I mean, you pick and choose your times to go out, and you can have a pretty good time for $20 if you know what you're doing. But on the other hand, you just got to. I thought if things were fenced in, I thought that wasn't a problem. Now most of the bars down here outside, you get plastic cups all the time, but there are a few that give you your drinks if you're outside in glasses, because the reason is most people anyway are not going to wander back to their cars with a full drink with a glass, or they know if you have a glass drink, you're not going to, they see you. It's more prominent that they're going to see you leave the premises with it. So that's the trick down here. But mostly, if you're outside, obviously for a lot of reasons, you get served in plastic cups. I just hate the fake straw thing. I hate the fake straw thing. And that's going on like all over the country now, those hideous paper straws, because, some bird species. I understand it on the beach. I understand at Fort Myers Beach why they do it. I get it. Or any community that's on the beach. But when you're in urban or in the city or wherever you are, and they're giving you those phony baloney straws that seem to melt after like 10 minutes, I can't stand it.
Now it's the funny thing is that you mentioned the gates and stuff, because over at the Yuengling Center over at Tampa, minus the one at USF, they sponsor the Yuengling Center at USF campus. Their restaurant bar type place. They got like I said, the fence, which is even more bizarre. The fence is in between the actual restaurant and their brewery. So that's what it was. Just Hillsborough did some weird law type deal, and I'm hopefully they'll get it open this fall, because ideally what it was supposed to have been at during the football season. The outside was supposed to be open to encourage more of the college kids and locals to go there, or even if you're at Busch Gardens and you're coming into town. But there's like 2 stages, so they can have one with the DJ, one with the live band. And I mean, it's an absolute beautiful layout, even inside the restaurant. Again, if you guys have not gone, you end up taking a trip there and see. But I didn't understand it. The same way with the little breakfast place.
Yeah.
How do you tell them, yes, you can serve breakfast, obviously with 0 beer? So it was going to be pretzels, coffee, Pregels, which is the pretzel bagel.
Yeah.
That was going to be provided by Penguin Pretzels. And then all of a sudden they get the whole deal like, well, you guys you have to have X amount of things up in the air and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, wow, really? They found a way to screw these guys after they spent millions on this renovation and building this place up.
That's crazy. And, my good friends, and I have a lot of friends on that run bars and restaurants on Cape Coral here in Southwest Florida. And a couple of places are undergoing renovations soon, and we'll be back up, but be back up by August. I know that. My good friends at Backstreets, I think they're undergoing some renovations soon, and they're going to be back. The place is freaking huge inside and out. And then my friends at the Deck Bar in Cape Coral, which would be one of Guy Fieri's ultimate diners, drive-ins, and dives. The place is it is absolutely amazing. The specials that they have, they open at 7 o'clock, except on Mondays where they open at noon. But every other day of the week, they open at 7 a.m. There's nothing Angel, nothing screams Southwest Florida like early morning happy hour from 7 to 9. It's just outstanding. You get a well drink for like $1.99, and then they have another happy hour there from like 11 to 1 or whatever it is. Then they have all day happy hour. The food specials are ridiculous. Some days they have $5 all you can eat quesadillas all day, 75-cent hot. I mean, that's just one of the places. It would be considered a dive, but it is one of the funnest places you could ever go to. I'm telling you, on the planet, it is hysterical. The servers are great. The bartenders are great. It's just, and people of all ages go. Well, I shouldn't say that. Not people of all ages, but you get anywhere from 21 to 70-year-olds in there, and it makes it's really a fun place. The bartenders make it fun, and they take care of everybody.
But that's what you want. You want a big mixed crowd of people. I mean, especially here in Florida, you get a huge mix of folks that are down here. And the what I do like and appreciate down here in Florida is that your seniors, there's a lot of them. And I'm not by any means, I'm not saying that you know they're trying to be 40 and 30 all over again, but there's a lot of seniors that are so active and they look great because they're not trying to get old. I mean, none of us are trying to get old. We all freaking hate it. We don't want it to be. But even when you go down to Clearwater Beach.
All up here. It's all up here, my friend.
Yeah, it's all it is. You go down to Clearwater Beach, some of them you see in Speedos that it probably shouldn't be in Speedos, but it's a nice little laugh.
They're Canadian. They don't know any better.
Yeah, pretty much it. But there's a place down here in out in Pasco on 19 called Skippy's, if I remember correctly. And
Skippies?
Yeah.
Skippies.
Skippy.
I'm kidding. I heard you. Make a joke.
But it's great though because they have a fish sandwich that they make in house, which is really good, and they don't do that whole price to market whatever nonsense is. That's the other thing. How we're on freshwater, right? You take a charter boat out there 10 miles. You're in the Gulf, freshwater. How do you charge market price fish when you get them at an abundance here in Florida? I understand if you live in Georgia, it's a whole different story. Listen, if that's the case, I might just take my little tugboat out there and just, fish and bring my own stuff back and have the restaurant cooking because it doesn't make any sense.
Well, you could say the same thing about lobster in New England, and when you get, Maine lobster or lobster anywhere from New England flown down to Florida, I mean, you expect it to be a little more expensive, but it's the same thing. Look, I can eat in Boston 5 feet from where they catch lobsters, and it's still going to charge you $24 to $30, for a pound and a half. You never want to eat a lobster. You don't ever want to eat any kind of lobster that's over 2 pounds. Although it looks good, it may sound great. If anybody tries to pull that shit on you, don't accept. If you see some place that you're at around the country, around the world, and have a 3 pound lobster. Anything over 2 pounds, you don't want. It becomes rubbery. It doesn't matter how well that they try to cook it. It's just usually 2 pounds is plenty. You might be able to get away with 2.5, but you don't. You want to stay within 2 pounds. And of course, you don't want to be under 1 pound, which is illegal anyway. But anybody who tries to sell you lobster that's over 2 pounds, it's not worth it because usually it's not cooked properly. It doesn't come out right. And I've seen some huge I've seen some big. I've seen 9 and 10 pounders before, blue and orange. And a blue lobster like that is very, very, very rare. And I don't think you're supposed to, even if they're regular size, the blue ones, I don't think you're supposed to throw them back. And of course, if you're a lobsterman and you pick one up and you see all the eggs on the female, you are never, ever, you're supposed to, and I'm sure 99.9% of the fishermen are going to throw them back if they catch them, and they give them a notch on the tail. So to know that they're a breeder. So you throw them back. Because if you ever pick up a lobster and see all these little black dots, those are all eggs. And there's usually thousands of them at once. So you don't want to ever, catch a female lobster that is what they call a breeder. So the man, you can do whatever you want. Anyway, that's your fishing tip of the day, brought to you by me. 727-858-6650. That is the number to call here. Follow us on the video platform on Twitter, X, my Facebook and Broad Street South Facebook pages, YouTube, Ion TV, Spotify, LinkedIn, Twitch, Rumble, and of course on Sports Radio 102.9. What else is happening on the webpage, Angel, that you're doing? Lots of good stuff, and you can tell people exactly what we're doing here. We're building this network up. There is some great things about to happen, some things ready to explode. And I can tell you this, starting as soon as football season starts, I'll be doing a show on Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon about college football. It's going to be fantastic. So I'll be coming your way every Saturday from 10 a.m. until noon. And as we continue to grow, as we head towards football season, more people are going to be coming on board. We're going to have an NFL show as well coming up on Sundays, and it's going to be terrific. It's not that Angel does not have to be around for this stuff because he's got other stuff to do, and actually he can relax. But things are really happening here, Angel. What's going on 102.9? Sports Radio 102.9. There's a lot of great stuff that you're doing.
Yeah, so there's another set of shows there's more NFL shows, put it this way, that'll come back during the NFL season. Some of the guys that I had on last year, they just cover the NFL season only. They don't do a lot of off-season coverage. But I had guys from the Aftermath, great set of guys. One guy, both of them actually live out of the Tampa area, but humongous Tampa Bay Bucks fans. So they will more than likely be back there. There'll be a new segment coming up, which I'm not going to release yet until we put it together. But another local guy who absolutely loves the Bucks will be doing his own standout report for it. Jonathan Marshall, who's on with Q, him and his brother have it was called like the Marshall Report for the NBA. He covers the NBA, a lot of Boston stuff. So their shows will be coming on to the network here on Sports Radio 102.9 within the week, as I have to rebuild a lot of the stuff on the radio platform. If you guys have not heard it, you can always end up downloading the apps straight from the website, sr1029thegame.com, and you'll see it right on the landing page. So you can download it from the Android store or the App Store itself. Some of the music that's been on there, it's going to be changed up. I am being one person and trying to be an editor and everything else in between.
You're doing the job of at least five people, and you do an incredible job at it.
Yeah, I try, but there's two other shows that will be coming on board hopefully here shortly. There may be a lady that's going to be joining us. She'll be doing her own music show here probably, I would say, within the next month. So it's going to be a tremendously busy summer for me, for the platform. Also, Lloyd Vance, who's on at 8 o'clock here on Monday nights, and then Talking Hoops on Wednesday as well. Both shows at 8 o'clock on Sports Radio 102.9 FM The Game.
That is awesome, Angel. That is awesome. Now, while I set this up, if I could have you scroll to the baseball scores and go to the Red Sox Padres. There's a couple of clips I want to play in a second. I'll call for them because we're going to start doing this every day at 8:15. We're going to have we're going to do a whole baseball rundown, but we're going to have the Red Sox report every day at 8:15. Going to recap the previous day's events. The Red Sox report is also now sponsored. The Red Sox Report is brought to you by our friends at Moynihan Lumber up in New England. Check out their complete line of Anderson windows and doors at any of their 3 locations in Beverly, North Reading, and Plastow, New Hampshire. Thanks to Moynihan Lumber. So the Red Sox snapped their little skid against the Padres yesterday. It started early in the bottom of the first inning, Angel. Rafael Devers, this is cut number 2, with the opposite field blast over the monster.
Number 2. It shows that's the White Sox. Hang on. I got to get my socks straight. Here we go. Cut number 2.
Yep.
And again, cut number 2. Here we go.
It's the 2-1. Devers sending it towards the wall. It is high, it is up, and it is gone! A 2-run home run for Devers, and the Red Sox take a 2-0 lead here in the first.
Boy, did they need that. Get on the board early, set the tone early in this game after a couple really...
All right, and then later on in the 5th inning, Jaron Duran also goes yard.
Gas booth, apparently. Duran drives this one to right field, heading around the pole, and gone! Number 9 for Jaron Duran. And a 4-0 lead for the Red Sox.
You know, TC, yesterday he was 0 for 2 coming into his 3rd at bat. Boom, homer. Guess what? 0 for 2. Let's put another one on the board right here. Great.
Thanks to Nesson with both of those calls. Red Sox go on to win 4-1. It snaps the San Diego Padres 5-game winning streak. Red Sox snapped their 3-game losing streak. They've been outscored in this series 20-3 up until that point. Jackson Merrill also had 3 hits for the Padres. And making his first start since being recalled from AAA, Boston righty Josh Wachowski got the win, gave up 4 hits over 5 scoreless innings, so that was really good. Good, Kenlon Jansen, the 4th reliever, got the final 3 outs for a 16th save this season and 436th of his career. There's still talks that the Red Sox might be buyers or sellers at the deadline and at the end of this month, and he could be one of them. Hopefully that will not be the case. Matt Waldron, this was a pretty cool thing, Angel. Matt Waldron for the Padres who's now gave up 4 runs and 3 earned and 4 1/3. Halted his National League high stretch this season for 9 consecutive starts, allowing 2 or fewer runs. He's the only pitcher this year, Angel and everybody, who throws a knuckleball from time to time, mixed it up with his fastball, and he has a sweeper as well. And he paid tribute to Tim Wakefield yesterday, the late great Tim Wakefield, famously throwing knuckleballs during his 17-year career, mostly with the Red Sox, but also with the Pirates. He died last October at the age of 57, battling cancer. And Waldron said it was great to say, I know that Wake has towed the rubber. He was very emotional, by the way. You could feel it. It was tough. And at the end of the day, I got to get a job done. And that just didn't happen. He started the game by throwing a knuckleball to honor Tim Wakefield. So that was pretty cool. So the Red Sox win 4-1. They snapped their 3-game losing streak. Next up, Carter Crawford, who's 3-7 at the 3.59 ERA. He's in line to start today in the first of 3 games against Miami. And right-handed pitcher Valente Balazzo is scheduled to go for the Marlins. So there it is, your Red Sox report, brought to you by Moynihan Lumber. Check out their complete line of Anderson windows and doors at any of their 3 locations in New England, in Beverly, Mass, North Reading, Mass, and Plastow, New Hampshire. Meanwhile, Angel, speaking of baseball, if we could start at the top of the cuts with the Brewers and the Cubs, if you can. And it seems like all the Milwaukee Brewers do, or every single day, if we can go to cut 4 with Bryce Trant, is just hit grand slams. They hit like one every single day. It's unbelievable. If we could play cut number 4.
Terang into right, and flies! Are you kidding? It's a grand slam again! Bryce Terang, his second salami! And it's 7-1 Brewers. This is one of the most amazing feats I've ever seen.
Yeah. And they said like grand slam. I know it's like six straight days or something like that. 6 out of 8. They've hit a grand slam. The Brewers, they go on to win 7-1 thanks to Bally Sports Wisconsin. Now, scrolling down, Angel, the Rockies and the White Sox played a thriller yesterday. If you call it a thriller. Let's just go to cut number 2. Here's a game winner.
And come on. Apparently doesn't like cut number 2. Come on. Oh, boy.
Not working?
And for some reason, hold on.
1 count with the runner at third. Fly ball. Robert Jr. on the run. Grabs it. Matt tags. Throw to the plate. He's in! Under the would-be tag by Lee. Robert Jr.'s throw was just up enough for Ryan McMahon to slide in and get the Rocks a 5th run.
Okay, yeah, it ended up being a final. 5-4, the Rockies win over the White Sox in 14 innings. Meanwhile, the Astros and Mets, they had a long delay in this one as well. Let me see. What's the worth play? Anyway, in extra innings, 11 innings, the Astros who wanted to beat the Mets, they doubled them up by a score of 10-5. Your Philadelphia Phillies and the Marlins with another big battle. We can go to cut number 3. Trey Turner in the bottom of the 7th inning for your Phillies, Angel.
It's sharply past the diving Anderson into left center field. The birthday boy has given the Phils the lead. Trey Turner, a 2-run base hit. The Phils have climbed all the way back to take a 1-run lead.
A rocket, just like Castellanos' ball. Just to the left of the shortstop. It hit so hard, there's no way he could get it. That's good to see right there. Happy birthday.
All right, final score 7-6. The Phillies win. Rays blank the Nationals 5-0. Last night on ESPN, Rangers clobbered the Orioles, surprisingly, by a score of 11-2. Yankees over the Blue Jays 8-1. As I told you earlier, Red Sox beat the Padres by a score of 4-1. Pirates doubled up the Braves 4-2. The Royals got by the Guardians 6-2. Cardinals blanked the Reds 2-0 in that one. Tigers and the Angels played a thriller. Let's go to cut number 2. This is we've had a couple of these lately. Let's go to cut number 2. Justin Henry Malloy.
Shell at first base.
Justin Henry Malloy, center field it goes. Moniak's not going to make the catch. It rings off the wall, and Malloy zips to third. Wave him home. Joey Cora says, come on home, and he does. Justin Henry Malloy's personal carousel makes it 4-0 Tigers.
Sounds like there's 5 people there. Tigers hang on and beat the Angels 7-6. Diamondbacks over the A's 5-1. Twins got by the Mariners by a score of 5-3. Giants over the Dodgers 10-4 there. So there is your baseball rundown. All right, Angel, going to take a quick break because the lovely and talented DeAndre Liu going to join us coming up in just a couple of minutes here. After this break, she covers the Tampa Bay Lightning. We'll get her thoughts on all things Lightning and some news with them as well today, and the NHL draft, and of course, free agent signings start officially at 9 o'clock this morning, but some have already happened. We'll get her thoughts on that, and also on the Florida Panthers. She's a big NHL insider as well, not just for Tampa Bay, but she follows the game very, very closely. So DeAndre Liu coming up next here on the Pete Sheppard Show. We're back right after this.
Ion Tampa Bay is the latest news, weather, and traffic for Pinellas, Pasco, Ellsboro, Hernando, and surrounding communities. Stay connected on X, Facebook, and their website, iontp.com. Ion Tampa Bay keeps you informed on breaking news as it happens. Southwest Florida's newest game in town. Sports Radio 102.9, the game powered by Ion Tampa Bay. We'll be right back.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are.
Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so...
Interesting?
Yeah.
When people actually sit down, talk, and listen to one another, they can break down boundaries and connect as human beings. At lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep, you can listen to amazing, life-changing conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know one thing. This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Whoa! Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Woohoo! Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad, just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman.
In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
The Pete Sheppard Show. It's fun for the whole family, if it's dysfunctional.
Hey, welcome back to the Pete Sheppard Show. How's everybody doing this morning? I just saw DeAndre Luke pop up there, and then she vanished. So hopefully she will be back. I know she's trying. And then there she is, the one and only. Finally, we are face-to-face, sort of. We've always had these interviews over the phone, or you've been driving to this, that, or the other thing. DeAndre Luke, good morning, my dear. How are you? Oh, wait, hang on one second. Hang on one second. I'll make sure that... Oh, there you go. Okay, now we go. DeAndre Luke, good morning, young lady. How are you?
I'm good, Pete. How are you?
I am fantastic. Now, you've been used to some celebrations over the last few years covering the Tampa Bay Lightning and, of course, the Buccaneers. But I thought maybe you'd go down and support the Florida Panthers way by, celebrating in the rain down at South Beach yesterday. But you didn't feel like it, huh? No good?
No, nah, not my crew, really. But it looked like a lot of fun. It was crazy to watch the storm that was happening during their parade, because when the Lightning won in their last boat parade, felt like a hurricane. It was so crazy. So it was the same exact elements, but looks like a good time. They stayed out there the whole time, as did all of us at the other boat parade, which is incredibly dangerous, but we were there. The lightning was striking. It was the whole thing.
You heard Paul Maurice's, speech, but how about his daughter getting plunked in the head by an idiot who threw a freaking beer can at her? And luckily she was okay.
Yeah, thank God she was okay, because that would have sucked. 30 years waited to win the cup, and the Lightning and the Panthers, like, that's a huge rivalry that they just don't like each other. But I will say, if there was anyone that I was rooting for in the Stanley Cup final, it was Paul Maurice, because he is such a genuine guy, and 30 years is a long time to wait to raise that trophy.
No question. I was going to get into that with you. I mean, we're lucky down here, and of course, that where I am, the Florida Everblades won back-to-back Kelly Cups, and they were affiliated with the Florida Panthers until early last month, and then, as you know, the ECHL they bounce around team. It's a lot of finances, but Paul Maurice's son Jake did the play-by-play for the Florida Everblades down here, so I had him on 2 days after the Cup, because he couldn't make it the day after the Cup because he was celebrating with his family. So we were going through all of that. But I think we're so blessed down here in the state of Florida. Now I'm going on my 8th year down here, and I'm just amazed that not only the hockey fans, but the hockey talent between the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Florida Panthers, what we have here where I am in the Fort Myers area with the Florida Everblades. I mean, it's been great. And two of the best coaches, I think, in the league with Coop and obviously Paul Maurice and Brad Ralph with the Everblades. And you've been around it now for a long time. I mean, did you ever think it would get this way 7 years ago? Really, the whole state.
I mean, yeah, I didn't think the whole state would be what it is now. I knew in Tampa it was growing so quickly, but the Lightning have always had, not always, ever since Coop has been here. So I think he's on his 11th season. They've had a good following. They've been really successful. They've made the playoffs every year except for one. And you can include Steven Stamkos in that as well. While we're talking about Coop, we can talk about Steven Stamkos.
Sure.
But they have a really loyal fan base, and it's so big here in Tampa. And people always are shocked to see what a hockey town it is. But for it to go across the state is a huge deal. And I grew up in Florida. I'm a Florida kid. And, growing up, it's football. Everything is football. College football specifically, but it's just football in general. So to see little kids playing street hockey in like a Stamkos jersey, when you're through a neighborhood in Tampa is so cool. And that's something I've spoken with Phil Esposito about.
She cut out there. Oh. Okay, Deandra. Hopefully she will. Then again, speaking with Deandra Lou, she does a great job covering the Tampa Bay Lightning for the Hockey News and Sirius XM NHL and a lot of just TV work up there, hockeynews.com.
Sure.
Okay, there. Are you back? Thought I heard her.
She's. I can hear her voice. I don't see the picture, but I can hear the voice. Deandra, you can hear us.
The Sheppard Show. It's fun for the whole family. If it's dysfunctional.
That wasn't me.
That wasn't me either.
No, I'm not in that, so I don't know what that is. That's got to be on your end. That's not me. I'm not even close to that.
Me either. So I don't know unless it was just a weird thing that ended up happening by itself. But
let's see if we can get Deandra back. Deandra, can you hear us? I can't see her. Oh, wait.
I said to refresh. She popped out altogether. So I asked her to refresh to come back.
Okay.
So she'll come back here in a second.
Alrighty.
Yeah, I don't know how that sounder just decided to trigger by itself because I know I sure as heck didn't do it. If you didn't do it, it's again things. Listen, I say it all the time when a show goes live. A lot of times, weird stuff will just happen out of the blue, and that's just
especially digital stuff. So anyway, it doesn't really. It's not no harm done.
Yeah, so Deandra should be back. It's tough. I know if you're on Wi-Fi in your own home and you're connecting, or if she might be on the road for all we know.
No, she's not on the road. She's not on the road. Let's see. There she is.
There she is.
She's back. Deandra, you can see and hear me, right? All good? She can't hear me?
Deandra, can you see Pete?
I can't hear you guys.
I can hear you, but you can't hear us.
All right, hold on. Pete,
do you guys hear me?
All right, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
All right, hang on. I'm going to refresh.
Okay.
It happens at times. Hopefully, Pete will pop back in here in a second. Give him a second. He'll be back here in about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1-ish, and he should pop back into the room. So give him a second. There's Pete.
Hear me, Deandra? Can you hear me now? She still can't hear me?
Hang on.
Can you hear me now, Deandra? Can you hear me now? Angel, can you hear me?
I can't hear you guys.
Hang on a second.
Give me 1 second. Hopefully everybody. Oh, hold on. So we came back. She's give it a second.
Hang on. Now can you hear us, Deandra?
She went off again.
All right, let's see if we can straighten this out here.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, it's both sides have been refreshed. So hopefully when she pops back in, she should be able to see it. Like I said, the tough part is when you're trying to connect on via Wi-Fi, it's depending on where you are, sometimes a little bit harder. That's why we usually try to get people to do a solid Ethernet connection and it'll be a little bit better. But we'll wait. Give her a second to make sure she can.
All right. If not, maybe we'll just have if it fades out this time, we'll just have her call back on the phone line on the 727 number and get it done.
Yep. We'll give her a second. Then if not, then that's exactly what I'm doing. We'll have her call in and make the connection that way. Oh, okay. Can you hear us?
Now I can hear you guys.
All right. I can
couldn't hear you.
Okay. Now I can see and hear you. So, all right.
Okay.
All right. Let's get back. We were talking about the Lightning.
Hopefully it doesn't cut out.
If it does, Dion, if it cuts out one more time, just call back on the 727-858-6650. But hopefully we'll be fine. Okay, your impressions. I was very impressed with the Sphere, and a couple of my buddies were out there covering it, and the NHL draft in general. That was awesome the way it looked, and I can't believe how every league's draft wouldn't want to be there. That was a spectacular event by the NHL, and that atmosphere, I thought it was like something out of Star Trek. It was unbelievable, the atmosphere there.
Yeah, Yeah, no, I heard it was a very, very fun weekend. As you can imagine, I regretted, usually with the Lightning, like they don't have a lot of picks early on, and the draft isn't really an eventful time for the Lightning as of the past, few years, especially since they've won the cup and they've had to trade away a lot of picks. So I chose not to go this year, and I think if there's one year that I should have gone, it was to the Sphere. And it ended up being a very eventful day for the Lightning anyways. But yeah, I mean, the NHL did it right. What a cool thing. And we've seen, the sport is growing and the league is growing. And I feel like this is just a great way to pull more people in and get them to pay attention to the draft. And I really loved, some of seeing the draft class come through and just, I don't know, it's such a diverse group. It was cool. I feel like hockey's changing for the better, and it was awesome.
All right, let's get into what the Tampa Bay Lightning have done. Now, incredibly, on-ice workouts begin tomorrow. It's unbelievable. And they have the 3-on-3 tournament Thursday and Friday. So, I mean, already right back at it.
Yeah, no, development camp. Actually, a few minutes before I got on this call, they announced the roster for the development camp, and the kids that they are bringing on. There's the roster is pretty stacked if you follow some of the prospects and the young talent that's coming up through the league. And it's this off season has already been how long? It's only been a couple days. It's been crazy for the Lightning. If you're following the Tampa Bay Lightning, this has been an absolutely insane 72 hours. So yeah, today's going to be a really big day. I would expect a lot of changes coming into this roster. And I mean, I'm preparing myself, but I guess, the story that everyone is paying attention to most is what's going on with Steven Stamkos. And, I've been reporting all season and even through this weekend up until probably Saturday that, they were on good terms and working something out. And it turns out the offer was pretty low for a guy that spent 16 years with one organization and truly is the heart and soul of the team. It's if he does have no choice but to walk, there's definitely going to be a hole in the locker room. I'm surprised with the way that this is going.
Well, again, Don Means his agent, and I know other teams vying for his services. Now, there's a lot of them: Detroit, New Jersey, Carolina, Anaheim, Nashville, to name a few. There might even be some more. But what's your gut feeling here, DeAndre? You think he's going to end up back with the Lightning?
If you would have asked me 48 hours ago, I would have said there's no way Steven Stamkos leaves, because I've spoken to him. He does not. He doesn't want to leave. That he can do anything. And it's reported that he's only asking for $5 million, and the offer was at $3 million. So that's incredibly low for a guy like Steven Stamkos. My gut is telling me that he is gone, and I think the reason why he is gone is because of the way that this has been handled. I don't think it's that he wants to leave. He's kind of cornered. He's got no option. So I would expect that the Lightning will turn around and give him an offer. He's going to test the market. And obviously, like you said, there's teams that are very much interested and want him on their roster. And Vegas is also one that I'm seeing that's a big contender that's going to try and grab Stamkos. So I would think the Lightning would turn around and counter offer and see if they can keep him. I just don't know if it's too late for that. And that just comes from a respect thing for Stammer. I think he was really clear that it was all about respect. He's not really hunting for money. It's a respect thing for him. We're expecting Victor Hedman to get a new deal that should possibly come through today. And it's reported to be around $8 million a year. So to see that, and then Stamkos, I think it might be too late for him to say, okay, but I could be wrong. And, I think Lightning would be very happy if Stamkos is able to stay.
How many years do you think Tampa Bay is offering Stamkos? And is more that, he wants more years or more money? Or, I mean, obviously he'd want both, but what do you think? How many years do you think that the Lightning are offering compared to maybe some of the other teams?
I've heard two things. I've heard that they offered him an 8-year deal, which how those goes. That lessens the hit, from a cap standpoint, from your cap standpoint. And then I've also heard that they've offered him a 3-year deal with the option to go year to year after the 3 years are done. And the thing with Stamkos is, he's not a big ego guy. I know he wanted to hit 20 years with the same organization. He just finished teen. So, it's pretty clear what he wants. I don't think he's asking for too much. So the fact that they can't come to an agreement tells me that, it's just they might be lowballing him for what he thinks that he deserves, and honestly, what he does deserve, if I'm being honest. But
yeah.
I know this is not him wanting to leave. I know that for a fact.
And the Lightning, they just signed Jake Gunsel as well, right? Yesterday.
Yeah, which is huge. And like if things work out with Stamkos, I would say this is going to be an insane season for them if it does work out. Gensel, they're reporting that they're going to offer him $9 million a year, which is just crazy. But yeah, I mean, he's 30 years old. They're going to have high hopes for him. And you think of him, Point and Cooch on a line together is terrifying. Mm-hmm. So. I get what they're trying to do. I think Julian's really trying to step up their 5-on-5 game, and that was a struggle. And there were two pieces for the Lightning that was defense and 5-on-5. So I see what he's doing, but I would expect there's going to be some trades today, some big ones.
Oh, I no question. It starts at about 50. I'll let you go in a couple of minutes here. But Gunsel, 67 games with Pittsburgh and the Hurricanes last year, 30 goals, 77 points. And a plus 25 rating, plus 25. That is outstanding.
Yeah.
That's big time. That's big time. Did we lose her again?
I may have just frozen up as she was. Hang on for a second. Yeah, it may have just frozen up as. Hang on for a second.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, now I can.
May have just frozen up as.
Now we're getting.
Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, now I can. Okay. I don't think the camera's working, but it keeps cutting out. But
I can hear you.
Okay, at least you guys can hear me. The plus 25, I think, that's a big one. I know, plus minus, you can go either way. Some people care, some people don't. But when you look at the Lightning this past year, it was definitely illustrating what was going on the ice. So I think that's a big one for them.
All right, Deandra, and I'm getting feedback. I'm gonna let Deandra go. I'm getting feedback. I'm gonna let Deandra go. Deandra, thank you so much, and we'll do this again. Deandra, thank you so much, and we'll do this again. Starts, okay? Thank you so much. Thank you so much for taking it. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Pete. I appreciate you for having me on.
All righty. Angel, I'm getting feedback in my headset, so I'm going to refresh. All right, I'm back.
All right.
And no feedback, so there we go. Anyway, thanks to Deandra Lewis. She's going to have to get off anyway in a couple of minutes because she's got to get ready. This is, like she said, there's going to be some massive trades. But Deandra and free agent signings, I should say, and trades. But Deandra Lewis, fantastic. Tampa Bay Lightning reporter for the Hockey News, Sirius XM NHL. And you see her on TV in the Tampa area. She does like weekly shows all the time. Sam Reinhart signed a $69 million 8-year deal to stay on with the Panthers, as well as some other NHL news. And the big stories in the NBA, where Paul George signed a 4-year, $212 million max extension, but with this Philadelphia 76ers. So now you have Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, and Paul George. That's a pretty good, quote unquote, big three there, Angel, for your 76ers. Good job. Good job right there.
Yeah, I wanted, unfortunately, Deandra and the connection she had, I wanted to get into her a little bit with Austin Matthews, the former Lightning, now Toronto Maple Leafs, because he's over the weekend, there's about 2 or 3 interviews that he went on and just didn't look like happy at all, almost kind of like part miserable. And I don't know if it's just because of what's going on in what's happening as far as in Florida, because I know he wanted to stay here. And listen, we can't keep everybody, unfortunately. Lightning couldn't keep everybody. And the Flyers did some good stuff over on the draft as well. But he just, I don't know. It's like one of those things, Pete. It's like, I don't know, I guess maybe take Gronkowski, for example. If he would have been traded to the Bills, even though he would have gone from one successful team to the next. But it's almost like, asking Gronk, what do you like about the Bills? And he comes back with, listen, I don't know. I mean, I'm here. I'm playing. I mean, what else you want me to tell you? It was kind of bizarre, the interview this weekend with Austin Matthews.
Well, look, first of all, it's a Toronto Maple Leafs, so you know you're going to lose in the first round. It doesn't matter who. Like I said, 2 years ago, they got lucky because Tampa Bay had a whole bunch of people that didn't play. That's the only reason why they even got out of the first round. You're playing up there. You fired the coach. Again, another coach. It's a crappy situation up there. There's plenty of talent on that team for whatever reason. I don't like to use curses or anything like that because I went through that with the Red Sox and all that. It's bad management, not staying patient. And I don't know what it is. You put that sweater on up there in Toronto, and you are almost guaranteed to be booted. It doesn't matter the talent. Booted out in the first round. So I'm not surprised that he seemed miserable. I didn't see it. They did resign Timothy LeJurgen to a 2-year deal the other day, $3 million. He's 25 years old. He had 55 games last year with Toronto, finished with 3 goals and 20 assists, and he was a first-round selection, 2017, played in 6 of the 7 games in Toronto's first-round loss to the Bruins. He averaged about 18 minutes of ice time. But, yeah, again, they were ousted in the playoffs by the Bruins. Tampa Bay and the Bruins were both ousted by the defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers. So,
yep.
But you're in Toronto, Angel. You're playing for the Maple Leafs. You're going to be miserable because it is inevitable. I say every time, my old Jurassic Park, the Maple Leafs will find a way to lose. They will find a way. It's unfortunate, but that's the way it goes. Let's see. There's some unread comments that we haven't had. Spalding says Toronto sucks. It's not that they suck. They suck in the playoffs. He was also Spalding was also Dylan White. He was at Formula E. Was fabulous. Had the VIP exclusive club and got to interview the founder of Formula E and CEO of the series. So that's cool.
Yeah, he was really excited. Last week we were talking before he took his flight out there to Portland, and he was saying how excited he was to do the media coverage out there. He was invited, which was even more cool for him as he continues to do big things himself. But he was really excited about flying out there to Portland. I told him there's not much to look at out there, but he'll end up enjoying himself nonetheless. But he's in Minneapolis waiting for his transfer flight to get back here to Florida. So I'll have him on tomorrow morning.
Oh, great.
He'll give me the rundown as far as of what happened out there over the weekend. But I know he was really excited. He's also got some other stuff that's coming up with him as well in his career. So listen, he loves it. I know we've got Daytona coming up here in Jacksonville in the month of July. We're going to try to somehow or another maybe cover the Daytona race. And we're trying to work that out for the network as well. So, but Dylan's always doing good things. And part of my voice is getting a little bit scratchy here, but
that's all right.
He's
and we're going to have Bob Bartis on too for Daytona. We're going to get I think he's coming down to cover it, so we'll definitely have him on. He's great, but I'm sorry, Angel. Yes, but Dylan does a great job with this auto races. I have no freaking idea. I don't even pretend to know. I don't follow it closely. I know it's huge around, not just in Florida, but around the country. But that's why I like to have experts like him on and Bob Bartis because, NASCAR for Dummies is a book I should probably read.
Dylan says not much outside of homeless people, which is it's Portland.
Such a shame.
Yeah,
such a shame. Before we go to break, I want a little bit of NFL news. I thought this cut was interesting, Angel. If we could go to the top of or under NFL, there's one cut in Total Sports Rep, and it's from Sirius XM NFL concerning Rick Spielman on what Tua Tagovailoa's contract could look like. The market is what the market is right now. And obviously he hasn't been signed yet by the Miami Dolphins to any type of extension. We've seen Trevor Lawrence and others come up with some big money here lately. So if we could play Rick Spielman there, Angel, that would be fantastic.
I think that if they would have got this deal done maybe last year or right at the beginning of the offseason, you may have looked at that $48 to $52 million range. But as all these contracts come in, and they continue to go up every year, that Tua is going to get paid near $55 million. Now, you can say, I don't think he deserves that, but you're not going to be able to sign him because that's, like he said, the market is what the market is. Why would he take anything less, especially if it's his first bite out of the apple? First time he's going to get a significant contract. Maybe if it was his second or third contract, he may say, well, I may give a home team discount. But because it's the first time he is going to get a significant deal, they're going to have to pay him that market value. And if they don't, then maybe they don't think that he is the quarterback of the future going forward. Or they'll say, well, we'll just tag you the next 2 years after this year is up. So that's when you can get into some holdouts and him potentially not showing up. I think he'll show up for this year's camp, but if they didn't get a deal done and they franchise him next year or the year after, then I think that's where you get into the holdout situations.
Yeah, and if you're the Miami Dolphins and Stephen Ross, the owner, you don't want it to come to that. You look at what is a potential ugly scenario going on with Dak Prescott in Dallas and all of that. Tua so far has said all the right things. He said and done all the right things. Now, we'll see if he's really pissed and doesn't show up to mandatory camp. That's something. I really think they're going to get something done. And as he just said, the market is what the market is, and he's going to get 50 to 55 million. That's just what it's paying right now. That's just it. And the Miami Dolphins are going to have to come to that realization. The salary cap number is up to well over 200. What was that? 186 or 184 not too long ago. Now we're like talking in the 250 range around there. The salary cap keeps going up. Quarterbacks, cornerbacks, edge rushers. Those are the three big positions that are getting paid big time. And look, it's Tua's time, and I think most Miami Dolphin fans want to see him stick around. Obviously, you want to see him stick around. He's put up some very good numbers, and they're still going to be. The anticipation is it'll be between them and Buffalo to win the division. I count the Jets out. I'm sorry, I just do, and they should be battling for a playoff spot this year. It's not going to be easy, but the Miami Dolphins should be battling for a playoff spot along with the division with the Buffalo Bills. So it could be one of those scenarios, depending on what happens with Houston and Jacksonville and Indianapolis and a lot of other teams, and in the AFC North, especially Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Cincinnati, Cleveland. I mean, that is a tough division. You could see I could see 9-8 or 10-7 winning that division as well. And then out west, we'll see what happens out there with the now coached Harbaugh Chargers and what they're going to be, along with the Kansas City Chiefs, the two-time defending Super Bowl champions. So we'll discuss a lot of that and more. John Meter-Perrell is going to join us. I'm told he has the link. He did not have the link. He claimed he didn't have the link on Friday, but I know he has the link now. And it's coming up next here. John Meter-Perrell will talk about everything. Lots of football here. Discussion next with Meter right here on the Pete Sheppard Show. Back in a few.
Okay, men. This is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're going to go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. I know you won't, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen.
Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick and proud aunt. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing. But not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country, but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help end childhood hunger in your community, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
You're listening to The Pete Sheppard Show.
Welcome back. Got the sniffles again. Welcome back. It's hour number 3, The Pete Sheppard Show here. Thanks, everybody, once again for following us. The phone number 727-858-6650. Following us on Sports Radio 102.9, the app and the network, and following me on X, on Twitter at PShep326, on Facebook and Broad Street South Facebook pages, YouTube, Ion TV. Love that they're being powered by them as well. Spotify, LinkedIn, Twitch, Rumble as I do the show, and Fort Myers from Isola della Cucina, my beautiful kitchen island here, where it is going to be close to about 90 degrees once again today. A little less humid here in Southwest Florida. Most of the rain and lightning, I think, is gone for the time being. But that little that tropical storm is out there. No, not a tropical storm. It's a hurricane. It's the hurricane that is now heading towards, hopefully going to miss us. Certainly, I think it's right by Jamaica now, I think, or just past there. And I'm hoping that it continues to move on and head towards not Southwest Florida. I saw one little noodle that said it could be headed, could hit parts of Florida, but hopefully it will not. And then the next one is Debbie, correct? I think the next name is Debbie.
Yep, sure is. Yeah, she had talked about it. She's a name storm this year. But real quick before Meter comes on, thanks to IonTampaBay.com for the report. Apparently in Pinellas Park, so if you guys are here in my neck of the woods here in the Tampa Bay region, Pinellas Park vehicle crash reported eastbound at Park Boulevard and 59th Street North. All lanes are blocked eastbound.
Oh, that stinks.
Yeah. And that area, it's kind of tough because you have the leftover of the morning rush, and it's already a squeeze play as is. But there's a lot of folks down in that area in particular are starting to use that like it's a major raceway thoroughfare. I don't know why, but again, it's
well, it's like 82 down here in Fort Myers area. I mean, people just use it as a drag racing strip. It's just crazy that, I mean, there's been some serious accidents. I don't understand, and I don't know officially all the ages of these people, but a lot of them are not like a bunch of 16-year-olds either. These are older people, and by older I mean late 20s, 30s, 40s. I don't understand why you want to drag race. I don't know what you're trying to prove. Your car's faster than mine. Okay, so what?
Yeah, that's about it.
You feel like living? So I went out this morning early to go to Dunkin' Donuts, which I usually don't do, and 2 motorcycle people riding right lane, left lane. They're speeding down the middle, trying to get to wherever they're getting to 10 seconds faster than they normally would without trying to kill themselves. It's just so ridiculous.
Yep.
It's just stupid. Just absolutely stupid. But anyway, we digress. John Meter Perrell going to join us in just a couple of minutes here, the voice of Boston College football. And you see him doing play-by-play for college hoops on the ESPN platform, ACC network, and all of that. And we'll talk to him about BC Eagles. Bill O'Brien is up there now, the head coach of the team. I know he just had, I think, their first podcast with Bill the other day. And I was on Meter's show a couple of weeks ago with Coach Tim Welsh. That he does on Saturday mornings on WEI. So a couple of funny stories I want to get into with him, because there was a pretty interesting little mini anniversary that was funny that came up at the time about Tim Welsh and Emeka Okafor and Ryan Gomes back in the day. Very, very funny stuff. Spalding said, did you see what happened with
John Force in the NHRA? I was going to bring that up at 10 o'clock. His big crash that he had over the weekend, but mostly towards the end of last week. Pretty big injury to John Force. And he's, for those who don't know, he's an NHRA dragster for many years, has many, many wins under his belt, but pretty much a horrific crash for him during one of the races. And he took a pretty good licking to his brain. So hopefully he'll be fine. But it was, again, part of it. Tony Stewart, I don't know why in the world he decided to join it as well after all those years in NASCAR, which one of the most dangerous sports other than Indy itself, because those guys, finally they put the crash bar on top of them. But it was pretty bad. As Dylan says, it may end his career, and it just may. But his daughter was racing for a while. And Dylan, if you're listening, I don't know if his daughter's still doing it or not. But she was in it for a while. But Indy had finally put because there's many races we saw where obviously the cars came off the top of the helmet with some of the IndyCar racers. So finally they decided to put a bar in between. So if a car does happen to go over, even for the racers themselves, or it rolls over, it gives them a little more protection. Yeah, it's nuts.
It's crazy. How about Joey Logano? He wins again, right? Fifth time, I think. My man out of Connecticut. Finishes first in Nashville or Lebanon, Tennessee. Number 22 Ford wins again.
Yep. Dylan says his daughter does. My editor was just recently working for PR with Force. Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And that's public relations for those who don't know, not Puerto Rico.
727-858-6650. Meter should be joining us at any moment. And let me see, because last time he said he didn't have the link.
He should have it this time.
He should. All right, I'm going to say call.
Double and triple check to make sure.
I'll say chime in now. Chime in now, Meter. Professor John Meter Perrell now at Boston College. But we'll get his take on all things college football, the NFL, a few things going on as well. And his first, he had his first interview with Bill, not first interview, but with Billy O'Brien, the new head coach of the Eagles. We'll ask him how that all went the other day. 727-858-6650. Again, the big headline, Paul George signing 4 years, $212 million max extension with the 76ers. Now gets to play with Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. We'll see what kind of fit that they have, but certainly it's going to make the rivalry with the Celtics all that much better coming up here in the NBA. It's just amazing how, and the summer league is going to be here before you know it. And we talked a little bit Friday about Bronny James. I know that Rich Quinones, I heard a lot of his thoughts, which we all share about what it's going to be like. He and LeBron will probably play together at least for a couple of minutes in the summer league. I would imagine it's going to be chaotic, even if it's for a couple of minutes. I think that will happen. It'll be chaotic, whereas in Vegas or wherever it is. And then we'll see later on when he goes to the G League, and we'll work on his game because he's nowhere. He's just not ready, and would not be. The Lakers drafted him at 55 because they were pressured to drafting him. And this Rich Paul made the comment he'll go play in Australia if anybody takes him. Well, I don't think anybody going to waste a pick on Bronny James, who by most people's counts he's just not going to be ready for a couple of years. You'll see him in the summer league. It'll be crazy. And maybe you see him. I don't know how much time you have to spend in the G League before you come up to the NBA. I'm still not sure the logistics to that, but I'm sure there'll be a time next season where you absolutely will see him come into the league and play with his father. Very sentimental.
Yep, I would think so, and a lot of people they're upset because listen, he goes to Australia, plays for a little bit, comes back to G League, can only make his game a lot better. I would believe, and I'm pretty sure, knowing LeBron, he's going to make sure that his son comes into the league. He will not be. If anybody is expecting for Bronny to be just like LeBron, it's not going to happen. That would be like Tom Brady's son trying, be Tom Brady 3.0. It's not going to happen. But he'll come into his own. Hopefully, he'll play really well. Even if it takes him 3 seasons to get up to the Lakers, all right, big deal. And that's even if LeBron hanging around that long.
No way. Yeah, I mean LeBron. LeBron, it's not going to be there for 3 years.
No.
And they were going through it. They were trying to plug in holes all weekend long. You saw if you were watching ESPN at all, and you saw them trying to plug in holes here and there. The Lakers are screwed. They are absolutely screwed. They can't do anything. LeBron taking less money. I mean, so a minor move here, a minor move there, but they're still going to be fighting to play in the play-in tournament when it's all said and done next year. And there he is joining us once again is the one and only John Meter-Perrell, the voice of the Boston College Eagle football team, a professor at BC of broadcasting, and just an all-around swell guy. Good morning, John.
Good morning. Sorry I'm late, Pete. I thought you were going to say professor of philosophy or something.
No. I'm sure you are. I'm sure when you're teaching your students and sculpting and shaping young minds on Chestnut Hill, that it's like a philosophy for that. It's like a science when you speak, right? It's like taking 3 courses at once: broadcasting, philosophy, and science.
Yeah, clearly, it's an all-encompassing course. We teach life lessons. I teach them, my first day, it's like, all right, here's what Pete Sheppard wouldn't do.
Yeah.
And here's what Glenn Ordway wouldn't do. Here's what John Dennis would do. So
saw John recently up at Glenn Ordway's being into the Massachusetts Broadcasting Hall of Fame. He looked fit and fiddle, looked good.
Yeah, I guess he's doing all right. He's down there in your neck of the woods. It's beautiful. I believe he's in Venice or Sarasota or some
Venice
parts unknown down there. But I like your background, by the way. I feel like I should be in a cabana right now.
Yeah, the way my shirt is, my Fort Myers beach hat is on. So yeah, it's just a beautiful day here in the Southwest Florida. But you had some good weather up there. I watched the Red Sox and Padres yesterday. It looked like a nice day and a nice win for the boys. Get off their 3-game losing streak up there.
Yeah, that was a good one. The Red Sox hit the skids there the first couple games. Pitching reverted to what it was last year. Tanner Houck did not look like a Cy Young candidate, that's for sure. But that's who they are right now. They're not. I'm still not buying them, Pete. I think it's been a nice little run, but we saw that the last couple of years, and then in the second half, they, as you well know, they just they hit the speed bumps. So hopefully they'll add. I don't know if they will. Seems like they probably won't. It's like they're happy if they're close to 500.
Yeah, and right now that keeps them in the hunt for the final wild card. They actually were there last week for a couple of days, a half game ahead of Kansas City or Minnesota. They're right there, a half game. But yes, so hopefully they're going to take care of business with the Marlins coming up with this series. So we'll see what happens. But I wanted to talk to you the other day when I was on your show with you and Tim Welsh on WEI a couple of weeks ago. It wasn't the anniversary, but I believe it was yesterday. And I think it was the anniversary of the famous Jim Calhoun mini meltdown. When the reporter, I forget who it was, kept peppering him about how come he didn't get Ryan Gomes from Providence when Tim was coaching there. And, rightly so, Jim was getting upset because he's like, remember, it's like, I got Emeka Okafor. I can't get everybody. But this guy, I don't know who it was, Meter, maybe you remember. And I remember when we played the clip over and over again. But the anniversary of Jim flipping out on this reporter because they couldn't get Ryan Gomes.
Yeah, no, that was a guy from Connecticut. I forget who the reporter was.
The Hartford Current or something like that.
Yeah, a guy
maybe?
he had history with.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was one of the all-time great
Oh.
meltdowns ever. That's a Hall of Fame meltdown. That's a Lee Elia meltdown back in the day with the Chicago Cubs. One of the great Jim Calhoun moments. I love Calhoun. I loved him when he was at Northeastern, when he was coaching Reggie Lewis. But he's always worn it on his sleeve. He changed a little bit when he went to UConn. The success was there. I think he and David Letterman, hooked on to him a little bit, and I think he became a little big time Jim. But you know what? You know what you were getting with Calhoun. He certainly was one of those guys that would give you everything that he could. He wasn't going to mince words.
No, it was just I remember when Tim was going and Ryan going, and the fact that the Providence College team had their number from time to time back in those years as well. So it was great rivalry in the Big East. It was good stuff.
It was awesome, and I think Providence is celebrating now that Devin Carter was a lottery pick. Tim Walsh called that throughout the year. He thought Carter was the best player in the Big East, and the fact that Carter, it was a terrible draft. I'm sure you went over that. This draft was awful.
Parlez-vous français?
One of those, exactly.
20 first rounders outside of the United States.
That tells you a lot. So I can't remember a draft, and I've always been like yourself. I've always been a big time, and like whatever the draft is, not so much MLB. No one cares about the MLB draft, but even the NHL draft kind of hooked on to a little bit. Love what the Bruins did with Big Dean Letourneau from the BC.
How about that atmosphere though with the Sphere in Vegas? That was phenomenal. I mean, every league should have their draft there. That was unbelievable. The NHL draft. If you missed it on Friday and Saturday at the Sphere in Las Vegas, that was incredible atmosphere.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's everything should be in Vegas. The Super Bowl should be in Vegas every year. They should put Angel Martinez's birthday party should be in Vegas every year. They should have everything in Vegas. There's no question. I mean, they know how to perform. They know how to do an event. This just in, that's what they specialize in. But as far as the NBA draft goes, so anticlimactic. And I know you're a big Bailey Shireman guy.
Oh yeah,
but it just didn't do it for me this year.
I don't think it did it for anybody. I mean, and especially the guy coming in. This wasn't Yao Ming where you had some video highlights. You knew that he was almost going to be a quote-unquote can't miss. But these guys coming in from France are averaging 10, 11 points and 4 rebounds or something like that. And then the people at ESPN and other places try to tell you, Meter, and me how great these players are without seeing any more video than they have. And I love the scouting report on some of these guys. Who the hell knows how they're going to perform in the NBA? I have no idea. Maybe they're the next best thing is sliced bread. My guess is they're going to be, if they're better than okay, I guess that it's worth it. 11 points and 4 rebounds in the first round. First pick overall.
Oh, that's crazy. I mean, you'll be lucky if you get, I know you, as a guy who's been groomed in the past, you probably feel for Kyle Filipowski, but it's one of those things where God love Danny Ainge taking Filipowski as he was just drifting down the boards. That's just a fascinating story.
With the girlfriend.
It's unbelievable. It's a Netflix movie.
Well, give everybody the short version of it. You can probably do it better than I can. The short version of what's going on with
the fact that Filipowski, first of all, this girl who, it's not a Belichick situation. It's not a 49-year difference, but she's what, 8, 9 years older than him. She used to be his babysitter. She went to his high school prom. She is a Mormon. And his family, which is fine, but his family feels like he was groomed by this girl to enter the Mormon church and become a part of her family, and he was disassociated himself from the Filipowski family. So Filipowski cut all ties with his parents and his siblings just because he wanted to be with his woman. And this woman now is controlling his life, supposedly. So allegedly. It's all allegedly, of course. But the Jazz said, it's okay, we'll take a shot. And I'm sure a lot of teams were probably thinking, all right, I don't really care about this, but maybe we're overplaying it a little bit. But a lot of people are speculating that this is why Filipowski dropped in the draft.
I don't think there's any question about it. But one thing I think, and I'm not just saying it because the Celtics, because I would have said this about anybody who took Baylor Shireman out of Creighton. I mean, that to me is a steal at number 30. It would have been a steal for any team. The fact that the Celtics had the last pick in the first round and this is who they got, I'm quite pleased with that. I think all Celtics fans should be. This kid, you watch a lot of Big East like I do as well when you're not broadcasting BC or ACC stuff, but this kid's a player.
He is. I just Tim and I talked about this on our show yesterday on WE. I just don't know how much he's going to play, Pete.
Oh, I don't think he's going to play a lot either. Not initially, no.
He's a good player. I'm not denying that. I think on another team, he definitely would have a better role. The Celtics just don't have a role for him right now. They bring back Hauser. They're bringing everybody back.
Yeah.
So that tells you that they just don't. Where's he going to play? Maybe he will play a little bit. I'm sure he's going to be on the Maine shuttle, their G League team in Maine. Look, at 30, I think they addressed a need. They need a shooter. Filipowski would have been a pretty good fit for them because they also need a big man too, Pete. And I know they brought back Luke Cornett yesterday.
Yeah.
Porzingis' injury, you and I have talked about this.
Till Christmas, more than likely, it's going to be Christmas before he comes back.
That's the one minus that Brad's and I know it. Look, they won the championship. It was worth it. But when you cannot make a trade for someone who is just perpetually injured, and he pulled it off, and Portland pulled it off with Robert Williams, you knew what you were getting there. You just can't trade for these guys. They're always hurt.
Yeah, they're hurt, but it was well worth it. And just for what he did in the first half of Game 1 against Dallas was worth it. So, and look, they have more than enough talent to contend and try to repeat for the championship. And if he's out for half a season, he's out for half a season. I do think what happened yesterday or early this morning, officially Paul George signs a 4-year, $212 million max for the 76ers. And now with Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey, at least on paper, they're quote-unquote big three meter. But that's going to add to the rivalry for the Celtics, maybe get it going again like it used to be in the 80s. To get the 76ers Celtics rivalry going again with these three, I think it's going to be pretty cool.
Bring back Andrew Toney and Caldwell Jones.
No.
And Mark Ivoroni.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, I think this is great. I'm all for that. I think the Celtics need that. I think I love the fact that the Knicks are back too, to an extent.
Villanova Knicks.
Yeah, the Villanova Knicks. That was good. Another good trade they made for Mikal Bridges. Yeah, no, George is a good player, but he's another guy. Can't stay healthy. So he's never played. When's the last time he played 82 games? It's not going to happen there. You're trading for, or you're signing damaged goods. Got $212 million, which is just shattering to me.
Mm-hmm.
The numbers in the NBA are just so ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. And the coaches are making it too, by the way, for that matter. Budenholzer got $13 million with Phoenix.
Yeah.
Clearly he's a great player. If he gives you 60 games, they'll be happy and get him ready for the playoffs. The guy's a great scorer. You're right. The big three, that's a tough matchup for any team, and it will definitely be a Celtic 76ers clash again if everybody's healthy.
Let's talk some college football for a second. Now, you know who Brett McMurphy is, right? And he just tweeted out. He just tweeted out, Costco's selling discounted college football tickets. Sure, why not? Baylor, Indiana, Louisville, Minnesota, Nevada, Rutgers, Tulane, and Virginia selling 2 tickets between $65.99 to $99.99 for home games through the Membership Warehouse Club.
Do you get a free supply of Velveeta with that too? Do you get
I don't know, but that is crazy stuff there. All right, Meter, go ahead.
You know what? I've been to a few of those places like Rutgers and Virginia that you mentioned.
Yep.
Great places to watch games, by the way. Rutgers because it has a really nice stadium.
Yep.
Virginia is amazing. BC's going to Virginia in October. Terrific campus in Charlottesville. Great setting. But, I don't blame these. Good for these programs. It's become ultra competitive. BC has the same issue. Everybody has the same issue. You have to worry about getting people in that building because there's too much going on. There's too many options. There's too many Netflix. There's too many other things to do. There's too many besides the fact you're dealing with, nice weather in September and October, and you got to get people somehow to this game instead of on the golf course. Good for them. I think that's a unique marketing ploy, but I kind of like it.
Oh, no question about it. You, of course, the voice of the BC Eagles, and you got to sit down. You had your first podcast recently, right, with new head coach Billy O'Brien. So, how did that go? What was that like? And things are looking up on Chestnut Hill. I think. What are the expectations for most of the fans this year, Meter, with your team? Well, first talk about the first part about Billy O'Brien. Impressed by what he has done so far?
Oh my God, yes. Beyond impressed, Pete. Besides the fact I am doing a podcast with him weekly, and thanks for publicizing that. Second one is dropping today. You can check it out on Spotify. The first one was excellent. The thing about Bill O'Brien, and one of the reasons why we're doing it is because he is refreshingly insightful. And I kind of had a feeling, I really didn't know him that well before we started it, but I had a feeling that we would have, it'd be a nice chemistry mix. And he's got a lot of stories to share. Obviously, someone who has an amazing amount of experience in college football and the NFL. So he's brought, this air of excitement, of optimism, because his recruiting is excellent now. He's really turned that up. He's got 3 stars, 4 stars coming in. He's had terrific camps in Chestnut Hill the last couple of weeks. He's trying, like every coach does, to develop that wall around New England. You want to keep players in, you want to keep the good players from Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island. You want to keep them coming to BC. He knows that is vital, and he's doing that, especially with St. John's Prep, where he went. It's a very good program. Brian St. Pierre is the coach, former NFL quarterback. So he knows what he has to do. He loves BC, wears it on his sleeve. His wife graduated there. He's a Brown grad, but he knows what he has to do to make this thing happen. He knows that if he wins 8 games, people are going to be very happy. You've said that in the past. I say it every year. You win 8 games at BC, they could be building a statue for you right next to Doug Flutie's statue. You win 8 games every year, it's going to be that type of excitement.
Yeah, and right out of the gate, you guys open up September 2nd. We're only about 7 Saturdays away from the start of college football, and BCO is a tough one to open up at Florida State, 7:30 on ESPN.
Yeah, that's not easy. And Florida State plays the week before against Georgia Tech in Dublin, a trip that I got to go on 8 years ago when BC played against Georgia Tech. That's a great trip. So they get that game before, but that will be good for BC too, because they can scout. Not that they're already clearly they've game planned Florida State already, like all these schools do, months in advance. But yeah, so I think that's good to get them early, though, Pete. First of all, they're working in a new quarterback, DJ Uiagalelei, quarterback, formerly at Clemson. So you get them early rather than late, which happened last year. BC should have won the game. You remember that one? It was still 31-29. There was 18 penalties against BC.
Yeah, ridiculous.
That was clearly ridiculous, yes. So I like the fact they get them early, clearly a test, but then you go home, you play Duquesne, you get your pillow game against Duquesne for the home opener, and then you have to go to Missouri, which is a top 10 team, and then you have Michigan State coming in for the first time ever in Chestnut Hill.
That's great. And then home against Western Kentucky, the Hilltoppers, and then towards the end, newbie SMU towards the end of the schedule.
Yeah, get them last year, the Fenway Bowl. They didn't want to play in that game. BC took advantage of that. Terrible weather, but BC pretty much dominated them. SMU is very good. You know that. I'm excited. Good trip going to Dallas. Get those freaking flyer miles an hour with Stanford and Cal and SMU in the league, Pete.
Yeah, it's just you look at you punch up the ACC standings now, and obviously it's in alphabetical order. So you see Boston College and then California, and it's just like it's almost like, are you serious? I mean, not personally. I don't care where anybody play, what conference it is, but it's just so odd. We're so used to Boston College, California, Clemson, Duke, Florida State, Georgia Tech, Louisville, Miami of Florida, NC State, North Carolina, Pitt, SMU, Stanford, Syracuse, Virginia Tech. And then Wake Forest, and that's the world we're living in. That's the world we're living in.
It's bizarre world. It's bizarre world. I'm going down to the ACC kickoff in a couple of weeks in Charlotte. We'll have to connect when I'm down there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, so that's going to be weird too. Seeing this coach of Stanford and the coach of Cal and coach of SMU. When you're used to for years, it was just, as you mentioned, it was just that insular group. But you know what? Welcome to college football. Welcome to college sports. It's the whole wacky world that we live in. Even on the lower levels, things are changing. Merrimack's gone to the MAC, Pete.
I know.
Schools like that, even like the lower schools, are trying to just survive. It's just a game of survival. That's really what it is.
Yeah.
And it's all about grabbing the money. You know that. And good for the ACC for at least trying to adapt, because they know they have to. It's either adapt or survive.
Yeah, adapt or die. It really is. And, I still think we're not going to have an ACC in 3 to 5 years. I think they'll dissipate. I think it'll just be between the Big Ten and the SEC. It'll be two gigantic conferences. And then we'll see by then.
Go ahead. Well, sorry to interrupt, but it might just be a top 60.
Yeah.
It might be a top 60 of your 60 best team, or 60, strongest teams in the country, and then everybody else. Everybody else is just basically a independent, like in the old days when you were an independent.
Yeah.
And that could be it. A lot of speculation about that. The top 121 now. It could just be a top 60. And I hope, for a school like BC, they're hoping to be a part of that.
When you think about what could have been, and I still think, had Penn State back in the day joined the Big East, Joe Paterno spurned them back then, and of course they went to the Big Ten. But if they had gone to the Big East, that conference may not have broken up at all. Because when you think about it, you would have had Boston College, Miami, Penn State, maybe even Notre Dame. Probably not, but they would be in. They would be in there like they are with the ACC now. You'd have them every year. Pitt, and probably Rutgers still. But that would have been a formidable football conference. And that move when he decided not to join the Big East, and then of course Gavin and company had to go at Pittsburgh to try to protect the football interests of BC and Syracuse. Can you imagine what that conference could have been like? It would have been amazing. And talk about domino effect.
Yeah, no, it would have been. And that's. You remember back in the day, you used to watch the Big East game of the week, and it felt like as a New England kid, you're like, all right, you feel attached to something. Mm-hmm. You felt like you had that regional rivalry. That's why I still like the fact BC's playing Syracuse every year. They're playing Pitt again this year. Virginia Tech, it is what it is. At least they're playing them. They're kind of an old Big East rival. But you have to have those attachments. And those are the games that these teams have to win too. So, and I talked about that with Bill O'Brien coming up in the next couple of podcasts about games that, he knows BC has to win 8 out of 10 years. If you want to be a good program, it's the toss-up games that you have to win. The games that you're talking about, they're all toss-up games, whether it was Pitt against BC or Syracuse against Rutgers or any of those type of games. Miami was thrown in the mix there. I wish BC would play Miami every other year, just selfishly to go to South Beach once in a while. But that's playing next year. Go down and see you guys and hang out with you. But I think those are the type of rivalries you need. Still moving ahead in college football, you have to keep those intact.
Gotcha, Angel. Do you have something you want to ask, John?
No. If we end up having, as Meter said something earlier about being in Vegas and doing a birthday, the only way that's going to happen, it would have to be the three of us in Vegas.
Harry wants to answer too.
Yeah, I was going to say. And it would be the three of us out there in Vegas having a great time, which will be over Memorial Day weekend anyways, as it starts to warm up in Vegas. But Meter, this time of the year, as things get ready for college football and your schedule becomes more hectic, is this probably the 1 or 2 weeks that you'll have of kind of somewhat downtime before you get ramped up all the way up through December?
Yeah, it's not too bad, Angel. I appreciate that. Yes and no. I think, as Pete knows, it kind of fluctuates a little bit. Definitely towards the end of August, it gets very busy, especially with BC going back to classes and teaching over there. But I think it's one of those things where, to answer your question, this downtime in college football, especially for coaches. I know Bill O'Brien's going to the Cape. A lot of coaches just relax. A lot of coaches try to get away from it. They're in their offices 15 hours a day. It's vital. It's vital for your own mental health. And I think it's definitely a good time, Angel, to kind of sit back, relax like you guys do every day, sip a few sip a few fruity drinks, hit the course. I'm playing a golf tournament on Saturday, and see what happens.
Nice. Where are you playing?
Playing at Quashton Valley, Pete, down in Barnstable.
Oh, nice on Cape Cod. Oh, beautiful. Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent. Have a ball. All right, my friend. Thanks for everything, all your info, and anything else you want to plug. You got coming up. You said Bill O'Brien podcast is going to drop today.
Yes, on Spotify. Our good friend Chach is readying those as we speak, our producer Chach. I feel like Keith Hernandez from the Mets documentary with my cat in the background.
And speaking of the Mets, happy Bobby Bonilla Day to you, Meter. Happy Bobby Bonilla Day.
Oh, I love this day. I love Bobby Bonilla Day. Every day. Every year.
Every year till 2035.
Yep. He's been paid. It's this 14th year.
1.3 today?
$1,193,248.20 that he received today. That is his 14th check from the Mets, and he's got 11 more to go, totaling $11,932,482. He's already been paid $16,705,474.80 so far. See, 80 cents.
That's a lot of cat food for Harry.
All right, buddy. Get out.
Oh my! That's just staggering. A guy who hasn't played in almost 30 years.
Yeah,
must be right.
I love it.
Yep,
that will be Pete Sheppard pretty soon.
Yeah. You're right, Alex. Yeah, you're right. That'll be coming. But fortunately, my payouts don't start till the year 3000, so that's bad.
Oh, good. Okay, so a lot of time to eat in Federal Hill before then.
Yeah. All right, my friend. All the best, and we'll talk next week. Have fun the rest of the week, and good luck in your golf tournament.
All right, boys. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Have a good
week.
Thanks, John.
There it is, John Meter-Perel, the voice of the BC Eagle football team, and you hear him on ACC and ESPN platforms, college baseball and football, basketball as well. All right, another quick break, Angel, and then we will come out and close out the show. I'm going to end it a little bit earlier so you can have time because you're on from 10 a.m. until noon today. But we'll come out with a few closing thoughts as the Pete Sheppard Show continues here on Monday, July 1st.
Okay, men, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're going to go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you going to do? You're going to go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You got to dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. No, you won't. Because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen.
Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick and proud aunt. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing. But not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country, but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help end childhood hunger in your community, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous, as in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
The Pete Sheppard Show. It's fun for the whole family. If it's dysfunctional.
All right, final few minutes of the Pete Sheppard Show here, Monday, July 1st. Again, we'll have a short week this week here on the network. July 1st will be on today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, but off for the holiday on Thursday and Friday. So we look a nice little 4-day weekend for the holiday weekend as we celebrate the 4th of July here in the United States of America. And hopefully people will not be reckless with their fireworks and be considerate of those homes that have animals and everything else. And I'm sure that it'll go in one ear and out the other for some. Anyway, Angel Martinez, great job. You are coming up today right after this fine program on your show, Martinez Company. And then Middays with Q comes your way from noon to 2 p.m. with Rich Quinones here on the network. So anything you want to plug coming up on your show? I got a couple of funny fun facts from this day in sports history. But what you got coming up on your show today? Anything you want to plug?
I'll be talking to the walls, and hopefully the walls will be bouncing back some inspiration for me because that time of the year where it gets really slow. But no, we'll get over Tyrese Maxey close to possibly signing a 5-year max deal with the Sixers. So we'll see if that breaks during the show as well. And earlier we talked about from iontv.com that Pinellas Park crash. All lanes have been reopened down there at Park Boulevard and 59th Street. So that's one update. And a little bit of the WNBA as it continues to do well. Probably the first time since their existence has many people been talking about them. And Caitlin Clark, she came shy of a triple-double yesterday. Yep. There's stuff to go over here in the 2 hours of Martinez Company. You guys can always call the show as well, 727-858-6650, along with texting the show as well. And leave your comments up here on the socials.
Fantastic. All right. Before we go, a couple of little fun facts today, Angel. Today in sports history. In 1859, in Massachusetts, you lived out this way, Amherst defeated Williams 73-32 in the first intercollegiate baseball game.
Good Lord.
The game is played by Massachusetts rules, which is a wide open form of the sport, commonly known as round ball. And Amherst wins by reaching the pre-established score of 65 runs. Amherst exceeds 65 run limit during the 10-run 26th inning.
Jeez Louise.
In 1901, Chicago first baseman Jack Doyle, harassed by a Polo Grounds fan, jumped into the stands and hits him once with his left hand. He re-injures the hand, which he had broken several weeks before. The Giants' Dummy Taylor trimmed Chicago's Jack Taylor 6-4. 1901. Also in 1901, the Phillies hand the Pirates a 1-0 loss for Pittsburgh's only shutout of the year in 139 games. It's a 20th century National League record that will hold up. How about that? A couple of other things here. Let's see. Let's get closer to, Boom, boom, boom.
Closing to the modern era.
1974, NFL players go on strike for 41 days, challenging the Rozelle rule, but had to wait until 1977 for a new collective bargaining agreement. 1981, quarterback Joe Montana weds his second wife, Kathleen Castillo. He was 25 years old. 1982, Angel Cal Ripken Jr. makes the first of his record 2,216 consecutive MLB starts at shortstop for the Orioles after what was considered a questionable decision at the time. Oriole manager Earl Weaver moves him from third base to shortstop. In 1987, and I remember this day as well, New York City radio station WFAN AM commenced its first 24 hours all sports radio format. And I remember they made the switch from WNBC on 66 to WFAN. Let's see if we get closer to our era. Anything interesting? 2018, NBA superstar LeBron James agrees to a 4-year, $154 million deal with the Lakers, moving on from the Cleveland Cavaliers. Hard to believe that was 6 years ago. 2021, the NFL fines the Washington football team $10 million after a year-long investigation into reports of the club's rampant culture of sexual harassment perpetuated by managers and executives under the ownership of Daniel Snyder. So there you have it. Well, Angel, I'm going to give you a few minutes to get a breather and relax. Thanks for all that you do. Have a blast on your show today. I want to thank everybody for checking out the Pete Sheppard Show. I'm back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Coming up, keep it right here. Do not move. Don't touch anything. It's Martinez Company coming up from 10 a.m. until noon. And then middays with Q with Rich Quinones after that from noon to 2 p.m. Angel, thanks for everything. Have a great show. And everybody have a great and safe rest of your day. Happy Bobby Bonilla Day. Happy July 1st. And as always, bye, everybody. Talk to you tomorrow at 7.